most of our fans to other countries. That's what spurred me to just create this project so that a new generation of people can actually enjoy and learn about the African football space.
Composer Shirley Thompson tells us about the role of the footballer in her concerto for football and orchestra.
They would be bouncing the ball to the beat. There are cues in the music to make certain tricks with the football.
And Lebanese-US novelist Rabi Al-Madin on football's attitude to sexuality. That's all on the cultural frontline after the latest BBC News.
Hello, I'm Debbie Russ with the BBC News. Analysis of satellite images carried out for the BBC shows that more than 1,500 new graves have been dug at a mass burial site near the Ukrainian city of Mariupol. Hilary Anderson sent this report.
Russia took control of Mariupol in the early stages of the war in Ukraine. The Starr Krim mass burial site is located to the northwest of the city. The UK-based Centre for Information Resilience, which previously analysed images of the site in June, now estimates it holds more than 4,600 graves. It cannot tell from the images how many contain bodies, but witnesses and Ukrainian officials say many thousands are buried here.
As the World Summit on Climate Change opens in Egypt, President Emmanuel Macron of France has urged China and the United States to pay their fair share to help poorer countries deal with its impact.
Et derrière, faut qu'on ait des États-Unis et la Chine qui soient vraiment.
We need the United States and China to really be on board. If I were to simplify things on emissions, our battle is for the richest to be present, to pay their fair share, and on this point, let's be clear. I need us to acknowledge the Europeans pay, but we are the only ones to pay. We also need to put pressure on the rich non-European countries to say, you have to pay your share.
Pour leur dire, vous devez payer votre part.
Poorer countries at the COP27 gathering in Sharm el-Sheikh have welcomed the prospect of a debate on setting up a compensation fund. A leading Egyptian human rights activist and former political prisoner has urged world leaders to use the COP27 summit as a platform to highlight Egypt's rights abuses. Hossam Bahgat asked those attending the summit to speak out in solidarity with victims of rights violations. He called for the immediate release of Alaa Abd el-Fattah, a political activist serving a 5-year prison sentence for allegedly broadcasting misinformation. The Pakistan Supreme Court has ordered the provincial police chief of Punjab to launch an immediate investigation into the gun attack on the former Prime Minister Imran Khan. Mr. Khan was shot in the leg last week when he was leading a march towards the capital, Islamabad. Hambarasanati Rajan reports.
Imran Khan accuses the Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif, the Interior Minister and an army general of plotting to assassinate him. Mr. Khan has said the police were insisting that he withdraws, reference to the army officer who holds a senior position in the powerful intelligence agency, the ISI, before they investigate his accusation. The politicians and the military have denied the charges. The cricketer turned politician was injured in the leg when a gunman opened fire on a container truck carrying him and other leaders of his party last Thursday.
World News from the BBC. The Nigerian military says 2 leading officials from the militant group Islamic State West Africa province have been killed in airstrikes in the northeast of the country. Local media have named Ali Kwaya and Bukar Mayanoka as the 2 commanders killed, saying they were senior members of the extremists group's Shura Council. Police in the Philippines have accused the head of the prison service, Gerald Bantag, of ordering the murder of a prominent journalist last month. Percival Mabasa was shot dead in a Manila suburb as he drove to his radio studio. Celia Hatton reports.
Percival Mabasa was a popular radio personality, known on air as Percy Lapid. He was a fierce critic of corruption and wrongdoing at all levels of the Philippine government, including the prison system. Prosecutors now accuse the Bureau of Corrections chief, Gerald Bantag, and another official of ordering the gang leaders inside a large prison they managed to find hitmen to kill Mr. Mabasa. 187 journalists have been murdered in the Philippines in the last 3 decades, making it one of the most dangerous places to work in the news media.
Apple says that COVID restrictions at the world's largest iPhone factory in China will significantly affect production and increase wait times for customers ahead of the busy Christmas holiday period. In line with Beijing's zero-COVID policy, the factory in Zhangzhou in central China was locked down last month after a spike in infections. Reports from central Somalia say al-Shabaab militants have clashed with government troops at a military base. The Somali Defence Ministry said the Islamists launched an attack on the base in the Galgaduud district but were repulsed. It's not clear whether there are any casualties. Since August, the army and allied militia groups have stepped up a campaign to dislodge the Al-Qaeda affiliated militants from strongholds. BBC News.
Hello, I'm Tina Dahili, and this is the programme that explores the world we live in through the work and voices of artists. Welcome to the Cultural Frontline. November season,
when we had that rostering crisis and we were temporarily short of pilots because they were leaving to join flaky operators like Norwegian. All that's now over. People recognise who are the strong employers in this industry, and certainly if you're a 737 pilot, Ryanair is your employer of choice in the European space.
Now, you refer in the statement to the fact that some of your competitors are still reducing capacity. More broadly, what does that mean for the industry going forward?
I think we're looking forward. I think this winter and into next summer, Europe still won't be back at its pre-COVID capacity. You know, we've seen losses like Thomas Cook, Flybe, but bigger airlines like TAP, Alitalia have significantly cut their fleet sizes. Lufthansa has cut its fleet size. Nobody has any significant aircraft orders apart from Ryanair in Europe in the next year or two, and even we're struggling to get those orders delivered by Boeing. So I think we will still be short capacity in summer of 2023. I think that augurs well for another year of summer of modest fare increases, particularly if the Asian traffic returns to Europe. We'd like to see Asia reopen next year. Hopefully they will overcome their COVID challenges, improve their vaccination rates. If the Asian tourist traffic comes back to Europe next year, certainly the strong dollar means the Americans are travelling in huge numbers to Europe. I think you'll see a very strong bumper summer in Europe. The real question mark is how will the recession affect consumer spending and flying? I mean, if there's a deep, dark recession, as the Bank of England forecast, I argue it'll be very good for Ryanair because we've widened our cost and price advantage over every other airline in Europe during COVID. But I suspect this is what's unusual. This will be the first recession, certainly in my memory, where you go into a recession with full employment. You know, there's no doubt that people are still earning. Yes, everybody is a little bit nervous. Yes, everybody's a bit cautious. Energy prices are challenged, but people are still in employment, they're still earning, and they're still flying. And I suspect if there is a deep recession, they will fly, but more of them will choose to fly on Ryanair so they can save money and save the planet, because they'll be switching to Europe's most environmentally friendly airline as well as the lowest cost airline.
That was Michael O'Leary from Ryanair speaking to me a little earlier on. Well, the Chancellor, Jeremy Hunt, is expected to announce billions of pounds worth of budget cuts and tax increases when he unveils his autumn statement. Well, this morning, business leaders have been laying out what they want to hear in 10 days' time. The British Chambers of Commerce has sent the Prime Minister a business manifesto to get firms through the tough months ahead. It set out 17 policies that it says will tackle the challenges facing the economy, the labour market, international trade and the transition to net zero. Well, joining me now is the Director General of the British Chambers of Commerce, Siobhan Haviland. Siobhan, welcome to you. Now, your top priority looking at this is investment in infrastructure. I mean, unfortunately, capital spending is just about the easiest thing for the Chancellor to cut.
Morning, Ian. Yeah, great to be here. So, you look, businesses have had a difficult year and a half. They are facing into sort of eye-watering lists of costs, from energy bills to finding people to raw material costs, and of course a very politically unstable summer. So they are pleased that we are now seeing hopefully a bit of political stability for a while, and now is the moment to the Prime Minister to say, Prime Minister, Chancellor, you need to set the right conditions to see us through a very difficult year and a half, so that we're in a good place to come out the other end. And ensuring that you don't deeply cut public infrastructure build is one of the ways of ensuring that that is going to happen. So that's what we don't want to see.
But would you be worried that something like HS2 might be vulnerable in the current situation?
So yeah, we understand that the Chancellor will need to look at balancing the books, but what we want to see is a long-term view, and short-term cutting of public infrastructure bill like HS2 will not help in the long term. A couple of weeks ago, I was at Hinkley Point nuclear power station. You can really see that when you build SME supply chains off the back of big infrastructure builds, it's super positive for local economic development. They employ 1,350 small businesses in the region off the back of that build. And HS2 is really important, not just for the country's infrastructure, but for those local economic supply chains. So if the government does need to phase that costing, that might be one way of looking at it, but what we really don't want to see is deep cuts to those bills.
Okay. Siobhan, hold on just a moment, please, if you would. We're just going to pop over to Sharm el-Sheikh, where COP27 is getting underway. This is the latest scenes there. This is what's known as the family photo, which is about to take place here. Trying to see if I can recognise any of the folk appearing there right now. We're looking for Rishi Sunak. We can't see him there at the moment. There you go. That's a wide shot. He's in there somewhere, I can assure you. Anyway, thanks for bearing with us, Siobhan. I mean, another key priority that you've set out there, energy support for businesses, which obviously is due to run out at the end of March next year. I know it's a bit of a how long is a piece of string question, but have you any idea what sort of level of support you'd be looking at, financially speaking?
So we're working with government on what is going to happen after April. What we do know is we clearly don't expect all of business to continue to be supported after April. What we need to work on is which sectors and which sizes of business need the most support. You know, small businesses are greatly more impacted by energy costs. They are burning through cash by paying those energy bills. We know that some of our businesses can't, because they're paying those energy bills, don't have enough cash to buy raw materials, even if they've got really strong order books. So it really is going to be an issue. One thing is looking at which sectors and which sizes, but of course we also want to ensure that Ofgem have got the right powers to make sure that businesses are getting the right deals from their energy suppliers too.
Are we in danger of going back to this sort of dreaded phrase of picking winners here? Because it looks as though the government's already coming up with bespoke packages for sectors like steelmaking.
We need to support the right bits of British business to help those who are, most impacted by energy prices into the next year. Smaller businesses will be able to keep the doors open for the next 6 months. But they are the backbone of the economy. 80% of businesses in the UK are SMEs. They are disproportionately impacted by their energy bills. And if you're paying your energy costs, then you're going to have to look at cutting jobs if you want to, keep the doors open. So it's really important we support the right SMEs.
Now, you're also calling for tax breaks for businesses that invest in upskilling and in training. Would that involve necessarily doing away with the existing apprenticeship levy?
No, not at all. Businesses are massive supporters of the apprenticeship levy. They love training apprentices. It's absolutely an answer to their skills shortages. What we want to see is probably a bit more flexibility in how businesses can use the apprenticeship levy. But for example, we have tax incentives like the annual investment allowance, which at the moment you can only use for physical plant. And actually, we would like to see that extended to the use for skills and training.
All right, Siobhan, we've got to leave it there. Great to talk to you as ever. Thanks for joining me today.
Thanks very much.
Our plans have been announced this morning to build a large-scale lithium refinery on Teesside to provide high-purity lithium hydroxide for use in electric vehicles. Some 1,000 jobs will be created during construction and 250 permanent roles created when the refinery opens in 2025. Well, it's going to be built and run by Green Lithium, whose Chief Executive, Sean Sargent, joins me now. Sean, welcome to you. Why have you chosen this particular location?
Good morning, Ian. Thank you for taking the time to speak to me today. We've selected the location for a number of reasons. Primarily, it's a deep water port that gives us great access for the raw materials we need for the process. It also gives us daily shipping routes to Europe, so we can get our product across the North Sea to the primary users. But of course, it's more than that. Teesside has got an amazing landscape for decarbonisation. That's blue hydrogen, green hydrogen, carbon capture and storage, and that's really important to help Green Lithium achieve its decarbonisation goals. And then, of course, being on the south bank of Teesside, it means we've got a great pool of people who've worked in process industries. Our goal will be to retrain them into 21st century process industries, green jobs for the future.
And do you have planning consent? Are all those hurdles jumped?
We're working through them at the moment. So our planning application is in. We're working on that. We've also commenced the permitting application. We found that the authorities in South Teesside are really interested in this project because of the new jobs it's going to bring to the area. So we're finding they're very conducive to new process industries.
Now, construction costs have been put at £500 million. Is that all going to be met by I think you're owned by Trafigura. Will they be bearing all the costs of this?
So Trafigura are a shareholder in Green Lithium, or plan to be, as we move through the Series A process that's currently going through at the moment. It's a privately run business, so we've just announced that SocGen will be supporting us through the construction funding process. We'll be raising a combination of debt and equity finance for that construction phase. And of course, inflation is going to be an important part of that. We're just running through an evaluation process at the moment to fully understand the impact on the construction costs.
So for the uninitiated, Sean, what does lithium hydroxide contribute to electric vehicles? Where does it fit into the process?
So here's a bit of technical stuff for you. It goes in the cathode end of the cell. It's the electrolyte in lithium-ion batteries, and these are the batteries we find in the gadgets we use at home, in grid storage and domestic storage. But the huge market is in electric vehicles. So our mission is to help achieve 2050 climate commitments by the electrification of transport, predominantly electric vehicles. So we'll be providing our material to cathode producers. They'll be providing their material to the gigafactories that are going to make these cells for the future. We think Europe's going to need between 600 and 800,000 tons of battery-grade lithium material by 2030. And at the moment, if you look in Europe, there's no capacity at all. All those raw materials come from China.
Why is that? Why is there no refining capacity in Europe right now?
I think China's ahead of the game. They spotted this gap in the market. They could see what was coming. They've invested heavily in these industries over the last decade or so. But of course, they're also sitting on the largest and fastest growing EV market in the world. So I think what we're going to see is, we need China more than China needs us. And it's up to Europe and North America, for that matter, to plug those gaps in the supply chain so that when China starts focusing on its domestic markets, as it inevitably will, that we can plug the gap and provide low carbon battery materials for those markets.
All right, Sean, we have to leave it there. Best of luck with the project. Hope to hear from you again in future. Thank you.
Thank you, Ian.
Some other business news stories for you now. And shares of the fashion retailer Joules Group fell by as much as 41% this morning after it warned that sales continue to be weaker than expectations. Well, the news came as the company said it was in talks with a number of strategic investors, including its founder, Tom Joule, about a possible new share issue. Joules admitted last month that it was considering declaring itself insolvent due to a combination of high debts and disappointing trading. It said today that it was in talks with Mr. Joule and its bank about a possible bridging loan while it continues to explore refinancing options. Drug maker GSK said this morning that a treatment for blood cancer on which it was working has failed to prove in studies that it worked more effectively than the standard treatment available. Blenrep had been subject to so-called phase 3 trials, which is the last major hurdle that a drug under development must cross before being submitted to regulators for their approval. Well, GSK said the treatment would continue to undergo additional trials aimed at establishing whether it could be used in combination treatment with other therapies. And shares of Flutter Entertainment, the owner of Paddy Power and Betfair, rose by nearly 5% today after the gaming group won a long-running legal dispute with Rupert Murdoch's media group Fox. A New York arbitrator ruled that Fox would have to pay at least $3.7 billion if it decides to exercise an option to take an 18.6% stake in the fantasy sports and betting company. Well, FanDuel, which is majority owned by Flutter. Two companies have been in dispute for more than a year over the valuation of FanDuel, which is one of the leading US sports betting platforms. Now, if you want to invest in law firms, there aren't too many of them listed on the UK stock market. The largest of those which are, though, is DWF, which has this morning agreed to buy the Canadian law firm Whitelaw Twining for up to £27.7 million. Well, joining me now is the Chief Executive of DWF, Sir Nigel Knowles. Nigel, welcome to you. Nice to see you again. You already have a presence in Canada. What does this bring you, this acquisition?
Well, look, when you see a good opportunity, you've got to grab it with both hands. On this occasion, we've actually known them for years and we worked with them for a very long time. But this acquisition allows us to build around our claims handling and loss adjusting business in Canada by buying a really good law firm that's entrenched in the insurance world of Canada and very well connected with the London markets. And there are really serious synergies here, both in terms of working with our claims and loss adjusting business and also the client crossovers that we've got and the ability to attract more clients. So it's a very exciting time for us. It's a very good move.
Is the Canadian market markedly more profitable or less profitable than the UK?
Well, it's not necessarily more or less profitable, but it's a Commonwealth country, and both Canada, Australia, and of course the UK are very strong in insurance, and there's a very strong insurance market there. These guys are very good. We're very pleased to have them. They're very well connected with the London market, as I've already said, and the synergies will be significant for us over a period of time. So everything really works, and they share, more importantly, they share our vision, our culture, our values. When you're dealing with people, businesses, you've got to make sure you get the right choice of people, and we have.
Well, absolutely. I mean, Whitelaw Twining has 16 partners. Will you be able to keep all of them on board?
Well, we're certainly expecting to. We've spent a lot of time with them. One of my executive directors is flying over there on the 5 p.m. flight today. I'll be going when we complete in 2 or 3 weeks' time. We know each other well. We're not strangers. And that's why we are convinced this is a really great move for us.
And do you anticipate any problems with competition regulators?
No. Due diligence has been extensive, and we're very happy that we have navigated those hurdles and don't anticipate any issues.
Okay. Well, what about the market more broadly right now? How have you traded recently?
Well, obviously, I've got to be careful what we say in relation to the results that we'll announce on the 8th of December. But let me say, we're not predicated around the capital markets and corporate finance. We do that, but we've got a very substantial dispute resolution practice, litigation, insurance, employment, restructuring, all of which are actually counter-cyclical. So I don't think we've been affected as much as a lot of firms. And we haven't had, or we didn't have an office in Moscow, which has caused a lot of firms a real problem because they've had to get rid of those firms. They've had sanction issues. I mean, the whole thing is awful, isn't it? But we are in good shape in terms of we'll meet market expectations, hopefully. But the real point is that we are slightly counter-cyclical. We haven't got all our eggs in the corporate finance and capital markets world.
Absolutely, which brings me on to my next question. I mean, you recently wrote a piece for City AM where you warned of potentially large-scale layoffs in the city legal market. Are you more concerned than you were when you wrote that piece that this is going to come to pass?
Well, I wrote a piece in relation to 3 things. First of all was the rising costs of employing people. Secondly was burnout. And thirdly was where it's all going to go in relation to now there is less work around. And you'll know better than anyone that there's been a huge reduction in IPOs. Private equity work is still there, M&A work is still there, but there's a lot less work around than there was 12 months ago. And we've seen several people who left us over the last 12, 18 months want to come back, have come back. And there is less work, and less work requires fewer lawyers. The consequences are obvious in my view. And it's happened every time in the past when there's been a surge for for corporate capital markets work. Certain firms have hired a lot of people, but then when the market turns, they've had to let them go for the obvious reasons.
All right, Nigel, we're going to leave it there. Always insightful talking to you. Thanks for joining me.
Yep. Good to see you again. Bye.
Well, despite no confirmation of a plan to ease Chinese lockdown restrictions next year, investors have continued to pile into the Hong Kong and Chinese stock markets. The Hang Seng in Hong Kong rose by another 2.75% overnight, meaning it's so far up 13% in November. There were also gains in Sydney, Tokyo, Shanghai and in Mumbai. Well, in Europe, stocks have made a largely positive start to the week. Here's the current picture. All of the main continental European indices up right now, apart from France, that's more or less unchanged. Talking points in this morning include UniCredit, Italy's biggest bank. Shares there off by 2.5% amid talk of tensions with regulators at the European Central Bank. Well, here in London, the FTSE 100 has been more or less unchanged there, as you can see right now. Gains for consumer stocks are being balanced out by losses in healthcare and energy stocks. The leading blue chip gainer in percentage terms is the ever volatile Ocado. Shares up 9% there. They're up and down like a fiddler's elbow, that one recently. Meanwhile, Mike Ashley's Fraser's Group, the shares up there some 3.5%. That's the company's latest share buyback programme got underway. The leading blue chip faller in percentage terms is GSK, off nearly 3% after that setback I mentioned a little earlier for its blood cancer treatment. Outside the FTSE, Dr. Martens has rallied by 5% this morning following heavy falls on Thursday and Friday last week, but Trainline is off by 1.5%. The shares have been under pressure since its results last Thursday. On the foreign exchange markets, well, the US dollar sold off on Friday following a tick up in the jobless rate, and it continues to be on the back foot this morning. As you can see, sterling is up by 2/3% against the dollar. The euro is up by 1/3% against the greenback. Meanwhile, the pound up by just over 1/3% against a single currency. As for the oil price, well, it's fairly quiet after a big gain on Friday. A barrel of Brent crude will currently set you back $98.53 a barrel, which is more or less unchanged. Well, joining me today is Russ Mould. He's investment director at AJ Bell. Russ, welcome to you. I mean, the dollar is very interesting. This is all on the back of the non-farm payroll figures that we got on Friday. I mean, they did, that rise in the unemployment rate did spook people, even though there are plenty of jobs being created.
Yeah, it's a very, very volatile number, that unemployment rate, because it depends not just on the number of people who are out of work, but also the population numbers which the Bureau for Labour Statistics concoct. So I wouldn't want to read too much into 1 month's number, but it did very much tie in with the equity market story that's been going around, that the US Federal Reserve may be starting to slow down the pace of interest rate increases, pause, and then pivot. And it's that pause and pivot that's been getting share price excited. As we've discussed before, weight stops trends, weight stops champion racehorses, and interest rates stop share prices, because as interest rates go up, investors think, actually, I can maybe get 4 or 5% in the bank, not taking too much risk, rather than risk my money in the equity market or even the bond market.
Well, from the US to China, obviously there's a lot of hope being invested in Hong Kong in particular right now on the potential easing of restrictions in China. This feels like it might be a bit of a trap for some investors, because there's no real proof that the Chinese are going to do this, is there?
Absolutely none whatsoever, Ian. I mean, the Hong Kong market's about the worst performing major market in the world this year. It's down by around 1/3. I think also one thing that's influencing market thinking here is they're looking at the Chinese currency, which continues to weaken. They very much doubt that China will want to jack up interest rates to protect it, because its economy has got a lot of debt and it's still trying to work its way through COVID. They very much doubt that the Chinese will want to intervene directly in foreign exchange markets. The Japanese have tried that and wasted $50 billion to no great effect last month. So one way in which you could get your currency going the right way and protect it, and they want to do that probably because weak currency means higher inflation, to protect the currency, they can reopen the economy and try and get some economic growth going. And the import and export numbers today weren't particularly good. They were both down month on month, worse than analysts had expected. So I think markets are trying to second guess what Xi Jinping's going to do. That's probably, I would agree, a fairly dangerous game, because he's got a political and national security agenda as well as an economic one.
Yeah, quite so. I mean, closer to home, the Halifax House Price Index is out this morning. Not terribly encouraging reading for the home builders. All of those shares off this morning.
Yeah, they're down a little bit. I mean, the builders have had the rug pulled from under them for the last 6 months after the new taxes imposed by Mr. Gove, and then you've had the trustonomics panic and the reduction in availability of mortgages and the spike in interest rates. So that none of that's been particularly helpful for the housing market. And surprise, surprise, in October, the kind of peak trustonomics month, as it were, we have seen house prices weaken a little bit, down month on month, still up 8% year on year, still up, I think, by a good third over the pre-pandemic level. So I guess the question is now is affordability. You know, if the average house is still £292,000 or so on the Halifax index, and the average UK wage is 35, 36, that's 8-9 times the average salary. It's pretty tough for people to get onto the ladder under those circumstances. So unless wages start to rocket or the government starts to intervene again, it would be logical to expect some house price weakness from here.
All right, Russ, got to leave it there. Good to talk to you as ever. Thanks for joining me. Regular viewers might recall that in July last year we interviewed...
PR Interventions amplifies yours. Organized products and categories for easy access and navigation. Access to global community, especially within UK and Europe. Welcome to Gabby Dave Global. We are a UK-based online e-commerce store, the first of its kind with license to trade in African products. Some of the products are clothing brands and all beauty accessories, hair and beauty brands, natural aphrodisiacs, processed and dried unprocessed food. Our mission at Gabby Dave is to connect African and Caribbean businesses to customers globally. At Gabby Dave, we ensure our sellers get the best deal for their products. We are not just here to help you reach a wider audience. We are also a distribution center to support business growth by fulfilling orders to your customers from our warehouse, making sure customers receive their products on time. We are inviting all Black-owned businesses to trade on our platform because we strongly believe Africans have a unique brand the customer would appreciate globally. So get in touch today and let us make your product and business go far. Here are some of the benefits of using Gabby Dave Global. User-friendly platform, track your shipment, online support, transparent process, multiple SKUs, multiple products, a platform that encourages manufacturers as well as traders. Our marketing and PR interventions amplifies yours. Organized products and categories for easy access and navigation. Access to global community, especially within UK and Europe. Welcome to Gabby Dave Global. We are a UK-based online e-commerce store, the first of its kind with license to trade in African products. Some of the products are clothing brands and all beauty accessories, hair and beauty brands, natural aphrodisiacs, processed and dried unprocessed food. Our mission at Gabby Dave is to connect African and Caribbean businesses to customers globally. At Gabby Dave, we ensure our sellers get the best deal for their products. We are not just here to help you reach a wider audience. We are also a distribution center to support business growth by fulfilling orders to your customers from our warehouse, making sure customers receive their products on time. We are inviting all Black-owned businesses to trade on our platform because we strongly believe Africans have a unique brand the customer would appreciate globally. So get in touch today and let us make your product and business go far. Here are some of the benefits of using Gabby Dave Global. User-friendly platform, track your shipment, online support, transparent process, multiple SKUs, multiple products, a platform that encourages manufacturers as well as traders. Our marketing and PR interventions amplifies yours. Organized products and categories for easy access and navigation. Access to global community, especially within UK and Europe. Welcome to Gabby Dave Global.
To their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission-free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR. S for Starr, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Vedasse.
Are you looking for the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy door-to-door shipment company? Well, look no further. When was the last time your family received a shipment back in Ghana on time and intact? You are not sure? Well, Lamb Shippers, we pride ourselves with being the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy shippers you can use. You are assured of prompt pickup anywhere in the UK by our personnel. They also make sure your items are well packaged to get to its destination intact. When it comes to door-to-door shipment, look no further. Well, Lamb Shippers, contact us on 07939009321 or 07498911820, or you can visit our website www.welllamb.co.uk. You can also drop us a mail, info@welllamb@gmail.com. Well Lamb Shippers, fast, reliable, and trustworthy.
Hi there. Are you dreaming of owning your own house in Ghana? Then you will need a well-documented piece of land that is free from troubles. I highly recommend My Africa Property for any size of land that you will need. With My Africa Property, lands are available in Pram, Sopoli, Tohenia, Ogome, Dodova, Winneba, and many other locations at affordable prices. These locations are about an hour away from the airport, only 35 minutes from the motorway, 10 minutes drive from Central University College, 10 minutes drive to the beach, and close to Pram Senior High School and Ghana Men's Soccer Center of Excellence. For more details, visit our website www.myafricaproperty.com or call our UK office on 0208 123 2523. For our US and Canada offices, call us on +1 585 184 994145. You can also email us at ghana@myafricaproperty.com.
Getting onto the property ladder has never been easy until now. Join us this and every Thursday from 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. live on the Property Hour show on Starr Radio UK, where we talk to mortgage brokers, property developers, estate agents, landlord, tenant, property consultants on how to invest or get into the property business and make money. You can't afford to miss this. The Property Hour show is your best source into the property industry.
Every nation, every tribe, and every tongue, we call it ethnodoxology. Let's do this. You wanna wave your hand in the air from side to side, everybody.
Broadcasting worldwide, online 24/7.
This is Starr Radio UK. All around the world. In your car,
At work,
at home,
on your smartphone. Welcome.
One more time, say Closiano, Acena, Atesia,
On the back of that beautiful tune, coming from Better Revival Choir, all the way in Ghana. I welcome you all the way, wherever you are. I welcome you to this day, the 7th day of November, in the year 2022, in the heavenly name of our Lord, the Savior. I say welcome once again. My name is Frank Davis and I'll be sitting in for you. Hamon. I'd like to say big morning to you. I love my music, you know. Our producer Francis Guy was asking me the other time, was I in the choir? If I tell him my choir experience, you will laugh. I flirted with the choir a little bit, but you know what, my dad was actually a choir master, and don't did in school. My dad was kind of those perfectionists, you know, a man who woke up every morning 3 a.m. to get glued to what do you call it, BBC. That's the kind of person he was. And for him, if you are his son, you are his daughter, you are someone who is close to him. Even if you are a student, you are close to him. Dad wants to see you doing well. And therefore, on this faithful day, we're supposed to go to choir practice, actually preparing ourselves from inter-school choir competition. And my dad has positioned himself that, Frank, you must sing. But you know what? I was in the autopart. They actually gave me some lashes for spoiling the song once. So on that day, I positioned myself that today will be my last day in the choir. Gani, I'm telling you my story. Today will be my last day in the choir. So I deliberately, whoa, you know that song, Francis, you made. The song goes like this. That was the tune, and it was my turn. Frank, step forward. Ladies and gentlemen, I say good morning to you, Malik, wherever you are. Good morning to you, Afia. Good morning to you, Mr. George. I say very good morning to you. I popped out there and I decided to sing. And look what, let me tell you, that was my last day in the choir. But I'll tell you what happened. By way of introduction, if it's the first time listening to us, this is morning show coming your way every weekday from the hour of 7, where we join our global arms, and then from 10 o'clock we jump into the studio behind the console, and Archie anchors the program every day. At 11 o'clock we'll allow me join with updates from Nigeria. We bring you the weather updates first, and then move to transport and headline news. After 11 o'clock, after we finish dealing with Nigeria, and a lot is happening in Nigeria. A lot is happening in Nigeria. Let me say good morning to our brother. Yes. A lot is happening in Nigeria. So we're going to run straight to take our weather updates, which is going to be very, very swift. But I promise you, I'll tell you how that choir experience ended. How many lashes I initially got, what my dad did to me, and why I decided finally the choir is not my thing. As someone will say, I do love singing. Country music is my best. Let me say a very good morning to our brother Adetola. Good morning to you. Adetola says, funny, do you have experience? Have you also been in the choir before? Adetola, tell me more about it. But I tell you, that day I got some lashes, and I think that was the end of my choir experience. So don't laugh at my voice. I love it, but I can't perform. I have taken enough from you. Peter Obi angrily confronts Dino Milai. We'll come to that pretty shortly. PDP in crisis has seen serious turbulence in few ways. That's what is coming. Nigerian military bomb ISWAP leaders Ali Kwaya Baka. We'll come to that, what is happening over there. Food climate change spark food crisis fears in Nigeria. Flood, climate change spark food crisis in Nigeria. I recall a few, was it last year or last 2 years? I saw a video of a lot of food. Was it last year or something like that? Someone help me out. For a lot of food, is that peanut, rice, packed somewhere to tout the achievement of Buhari administration, that they've invested so much in food. So if we have achieved that feat, then wisdom will suggest that if indeed we're not lying playing politics of our people, then we should have some in storage. So we'll see. Tinubu already the tribalized presidential candidate, federal character commissioner. That is what we are being told. We'll go to. But first, let's go straight to our weather update. What is going to be happening in London and elsewhere in the UK, wherever you are, please. The weather conditions might differ. This afternoon will be largely cloudy with spells of blustering rain spreading northwest as eastwards throughout the day, falling heavy at times in the northwest, a few bright spells in the south. In fact, yes, the whole weekend was full of rain. Driving on some of these commuter routes was very difficult and treacherous. And if your car is low as mine is, you get through some people gonna go to these flood waters, and you're wondering, with these electronic days, are we not going to be having any problem with the car? But at the end of the day, it was very, very bad. Tonight it will be wet and windy for many. Showery outbreaks are likely for northern areas, and a heavy band of thundery rain will sweep eastwards across England and Wales overnight. When it comes to temperatures, temperatures are not looking that bad this morning. In Croydon, where we are, actually we're looking at 14 going to be the highest and 9 will be the lowest. Elsewhere in the country, we're likely to go to around 5 degrees, and the highest we're looking at around 18. That is what the temperatures are going to be. The temperatures are going to be currently. So place wherever you are, the temperatures might differ. Let's go straight to for our transport updates. Our transport update, we're going to start with London, and we'll jump into the national. I had a very bitter and bad experience that I had to drive all the way to Portsmouth. When was that? That was Saturday. David Kluche has a good morning to you. I visited a friend of mine, Dave Kluche, and came back. We booked a train trying to get to Portsmouth. We went to Clapham Junction. They advertised, you're right, but no, there was no train. Ended up in Waterloo, London Bridge, we just coming like headless chickens. We ended up coming back, and we have to drive all the way to Portsmouth just because we needed to be there at set time. But thank God we got it, and we are back. Right on the road, we have A24, A4, A41, Central Road, North Circular, South Circular, serious delays, closures over there. North Circular, again, you do have a bit of closures over there. Now, when it comes to A13, we do have serious delays over there. A24, A4, A41 closures, A1 no exceptional delays. All the other routes, even Blackwater no exceptional delays. A23, A21, A20, A10, A2 we do not have exceptional delays over there. When it comes to our buses, nothing major to declare. But when it comes to our traffic situation, you do have a bit of roadworks here and there, so you're gonna look out for that. Now let's go straight to our underground. Underground is actually one of the most used networks globally anyway. Apart from Hammersmith and City, where we do have a bit of minor delays, and then Piccadilly, which is partly suspended, between Rhymes Lane and Osbridge, where they fix a damaged platform. Apart from those two, all the other lines from Bakerloo Central, Circle District, Jubilee Metropolitan, all the way to our latest baby on the block, which is Elizabeth Line, to from where we are now, all running as they should. Good services as they should. Riverboat, Archie's favorites, apart from Woolwich Ferry running special service, all the other lines, I'm glad to report, are running as they should. And then when it comes to our cable line, for those of you who like the cable line, good service, come to National. We do have a spillover of disruption. You know, they were supposed to go for the RMT, rail network or whatever they call it, rail transport union or whatever they call them. A union member, RMTU, right? They were billed to go for strike, but they called it off last minute. But as a direct result, we do have a bit of people who have booked holidays. They're trying to catch up with timetable, so you do have a bit of major delays on most of the lines. So please, before you travel, I'll ask you and I'll urge you to check. So basically, the RMT, the TSSA, and other unions taking that ration, that was called off as a direct result of intense negotiation. They claim they're going to be having with the government. But apart from that, we do not have any other major thing to report on those lines. I'm glad to report that brings us to the end of our weather updates, our transport updates. We're going to go straight for our headlines. 11 o'clock Olayomi will be our guest. Bring you all the update from Nigeria. Climate activists shunted to COP27 sidelines. Kenya's advance given wins the New York Marathon again, so we have African dominating over there. Tanzania Prime Minister to lead funeral of crushed victims. Yes, over the weekend we'll bring you that a tragic incident happened in Tanzania over the weekend. Is over the weekend? Yes, a plane actually crashed trying to land. The accident happened on Sunday morning. That was yesterday when the plane overshot Bukoba's airport runway, crashing into the water. According to operator Precision Air, the plane carried on board 45 people, of which 24 survived. Precision Air could not land precisely. That was as a direct result of storming and bad weather conditions. So hey, you see the images with the plane landing in the water. But that is it. It happened as yesterday. COP27 agreement to discuss climate change damage payments. Right. This will come to look at it. Our leaders. I saw President Akufo-Addo also over there. I heard reports that Ghana might have featured or might have traveled there with the largest number of contingent. I don't know the numbers that we have from Nigeria, but we're going to verify if that is the case, and if that is true, that will be very, very unfortunate. That will be very unfortunate because our backyard, our water bodies are being destroyed. Last year, COP26, we saw Ghanaians sending a huge contingent, a huge delegation, and one would have thought that when we come back, we will actually put those talks into practice, take aggressive steps towards basically rescuing the future generation and the future of the country. But that was not the case. That turned out to be travel opportunity, blowing government money on it. This year again, we've been told that Ghana's delegation has gone well over 200. We're going to be looking deep into that. Let's take a quick commercial break. We'll go for a quick music, and when we return, we'll look at the headlines that are making news, and Olayomi will be our guest all the way, bringing out headlines from Nigeria. But let's take our commercial break, and we'll be right back.
Hi guys, this is your friend Uruj from SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR. S for Star, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse.
Are you looking for the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy door-to-door shipment company? Well, look no further. When was the last time your family received a shipment back in Ghana on time and in time? You are not sure? Well, Lamb Shippers, we pride ourselves with being the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy shippers you can use. You are assured of prompt pickup anywhere in the UK by our personnel. They also make sure your items are well packaged to get to its destination in time. When it comes to door-to-door shipment, look no further. Well, Lamb Shippers, contact us on 07939009321 or 07498911820, or you can visit our website www.welllamb.co.uk. You can also drop us a mail, info@welllamb@gmail.com. Well Lamb Shippers, fast, reliable, and trustworthy.
Hi there. Are you dreaming of owning your own house in Ghana? Then you will need a well-documented piece of land that is free from troubles. I highly recommend My Africa Property for any size of land that you will need. With My Africa Property, lands are available in Pram, Sopoli, Tohenia, Ogome, Dodova, Winneba, and many other locations at affordable prices. These locations are about an hour away from the airport, only 35 minutes from the motorway, 10 minutes drive from Central University College, 10 minutes drive to the beach, and close to Pram Senior High School and Ghana Men's Soccer Center of Excellence. For more details, visit our website www.myafricaproperty.com or call our UK office on 0208 123 2523. For our US and Canada offices, call us on +1 585 184 994145. You can also email us at Ghana.
From side to side, everybody. Oh my. Say that one more time, say. No siaklo ajenawo adesiade amuma globe. Oh, akatoye hoa when ye Glosia, Galo. Everybody say Glosia, Glosia. Ajena, Adesia, De, Agumaglo, Apello, Apeto Yehoah, when Yefia, yeah. Say that one more time, say Glosia, Glo, Ajena, Adesia, De. Hey, Agumaglo, Apeto Yehoah, Apello, hey, when Yefia, oh, Jehovah, hey, when Yefia, Galo, Apello, Apeto Yehoah, when Yefia, say that one more time, say, whoa, Yehoah, when Yefia, Galo, Apeto Yehoah, when Yefia, hey, Daddy Metiano, try. He never tire. My God, he never tire. He never tire. Say me up in my way. Hey, the deep metanu. Me up in my way. The deep metanu. Yeah, me up in my way. Hey, the deep metanu. Me up in my way. Daddy, one more time. Oh, we are Prema, we are. Everybody say, we are Prema, we are. Daddy, Metanu, we are Prema, we are. Daddy, Metanu, we are Prema, we are. Say, Fa, Namaglana, no see, so, hey, Fa, Namaglana, no see, so, hey, you're done, no viva, no see yes, hey, you don't know,
my friends like photobombing a lot. They just like to do.
Right, welcome back to Star Radio morning show, and time check from our studios. It's exactly 9 minutes past the hour of 10 at the hour of 11, and we're going to proceed while we wait for Olayomi. We're having a bit of technical challenge, but we'll proceed straight with our news. There are some headlines from Nigeria that we're going to bring you, and we'll be expecting Olayomi to join us probably pretty a bit later on. But let's proceed with that. In Nigeria, let's see what is happening in Nigeria. All right, I'm going to be bringing some interesting news. There's a bit of alliance between Ghana and Nigeria that is good, but we now review Milan from Easy Win Ghana Lotto Games. So, you know, Ghana launched a lottery company. They extended their operation, which is very good. I mean, to see what they call it, a Ghanaian company venturing into Nigeria to operate a lottery company. I think I'll give that to Samiako, who is now head of the National Lottery department. But here we have someone who has been made richer with 2 million naira worth of one win, a civil servant who is based in Ibadan. I hope he makes judicial use of the money. But let's go straight for our new headlines. Yes, like I told you, before I could say Jack, the white lion, as Archie would prefer to call him now, is right here with us. So if you were those who have won the lottery, what will you be doing with those money? And I would think I'll be asking Olayomi the same question. Someone just won a 2 million pound, 2 million naira. What will Olayomi be doing with that money if he was the one? Olayomi, good morning, my brother.
Very good morning to you back in the studio, Mr. Frank. Good morning, Archie, and good morning to all our presenters. And welcome once again to the Monday edition of the Starr Radio UK, the 7th of November. There's quite a lot to get to discuss when it comes to the headlines and all the updates coming out of Nigeria today.
Nigeria, I think Nigeria is taking the whole world by storm. The news that are coming from there daily, I don't know whether it's because Nigerians are now very active with social media and reporting, and therefore a lot of news is happening. But even the headlines, I don't know whether it's because a lot is happening over there. Lami, how was your weekend?
Well, the weekend was very beautiful. Apart from some of the those that probably do not love what took place over the weekend. We had a great weekend. It was also my daughter's birthday over the weekend.
Wow.
So it was quite a lot of celebration, as you can tell, where we had the family time, the bowling, as you can tell. But one thing after that is on Saturday it was marvelous because we had what it takes when the Biafra and the Oduduwa had a joint press release by our leader. Also over the weekend, as at yesterday, Tinubu was running away from debate where Peter Obi went flare on Dino Malaye, former senator. Atiku was nowhere to be found, so he was also represented by his own vice. So as you can tell, there is a lot going on in Nigeria, and I think the social media, especially Twitter, by Elon Musk, that wants to charge $8 for having a blue tick, and he says that if you can drink a tea or coffee for $8, $8 a month should not be enough for those of us that want that blue tick. I don't have it. I don't know whether you have it, but I'll probably not go for it because I believe we're doing so much already than to pay $8 for Elon Musk.
Actually, Olayomi, you see the interesting bit about that blue tick and the dollars to be paid. $8 a month. That's you look at $76 a whole year, which is a lot in Nigeria and in Ghana. But it is not even the money that is being paid. What I'm looking at is what is the relevance, because at the end of the day, the blue tick had relevance. It was not meant to be bought. It's just like the way we say an award has been given to you. You cannot go and buy a knighthood. A knighthood is given in recognition of the job you've done to humanity and within a community. And again, if you look at a degree, when you move past, that's why we say, okay, at the GSS or at a basic level, you are awarded a certificate. When you move to a master's level, they say you are awarded, you are awarded from the university level, which means the university can even withdraw it from you. So this blue tag, you basically earn it by what you do, being verified, be someone that cannot malign people and then run away, be someone that when you commit a crime, basically you have a responsibility and you do have a reputation to protect, right? If anyone can go and buy that blue tag, what is the relevance?
Well, you're quite right. Just as before working with children in this country, as against Africa, I don't know whether you have a kind of a protection like that, but we've seen very sad news most of the time. Father, uncle sleeping, with the especially even within the family as well. For you to get closer to children. I mean, I worked in the school here, for some time, and you have to go through that CRB check, just to make sure that you're competent, enough, to even work, within the environment of children and the elderly. But like you said, I think the Twitter that we know is no longer the one that we know now, because as much as we don't have the say to what the owner does, but if nobody can be verifiable, it can also be a kind of a thing for crime. I've seen people using some of the operating, the software that we use for broadcasting, using that as a kind of a crime now. You change the background, making it look like you're a big man somewhere in Banana Island in Ikoyi, and you're actually somewhere in your small village, speaking to somebody in America and UK and pretending that you are not who you are. So those things that are not verifiable is one of the problems. But as long as the Star Radio UK is verifiable, you can get all the news, from African Caribbean, especially from us here, where we give you to you as a Monday to Friday, and we hope you all had a great weekend. We have a lot of people that have joined us from our sister broadcast as well, and I say good morning, good afternoon, good evening from wherever you join.
And let me say good morning to Mr. Moses Olaniran. Good morning to you. So don't forget that they were already living in the world of counterfeit and upside down. Elon Musk will be charged for tweeting. Think that is not too much. Well, that's what I say. They've even changed something on the broadcast. So now, we used to broadcast. Now, when you broadcasting, they give you certain limits, and then you cannot broadcast continuously. I don't know whether they are going to ask broadcasters. So this morning, for instance, our broadcast, for those of you following out on Twitter feed, we broadcast that 24/7, but now it's been limited. We're trying to understand what we need to do to get back over there, but we'll see. It broadcasts for about 2-3 minutes, then it cuts off. It has to rejoin, cut off. We thought it's not, so the technical team decided we'll take it down for some time and observe what Elon Musk wants to do, whether he wants all of those who are qualified to go to mass to be on Twitter broadcast. We don't know. Olayomi, let's go straight to the headlines.
Yes, let's start with what happened over the weekend. It was a joint press briefing between the Biafra and the Oduduwa, or the Yoruba nation, where it was a live transmission. We're going to give you what was said in that press briefing. First and foremost, I say good morning once again. There was a resolution that took place on the 5th of November between the Yoruba nation and the Biafra nation. Our purpose that aim at achieving two separate nations, one for Yoruba people and the other for the Biafra. Moreover, as the record abundantly and clearly showed that the past of the two struggle has been different. Inevitable, the true struggles will continue to operate along different but parallel lines. Yet with humility before God, we recognize and acknowledge that the two struggles has the same purpose, which is liberation of our two people and their separate nations from the enslavement in Nigeria. To liberate them from Nigeria poverty, generating direction from the endless suffering, marginalization, oppression, we will henceforth, we, the two nations seeking for the self-determination, will henceforth work together as two brotherly nations seeking freedom, progress, and prosperity. This is what happened. Let's hear from Professor Banjaki Toye for just about 31 minutes.
Those are aimed at achieving two separate nation states, one for the Yoruba people and the other for Biafra. Moreover, as the records abundantly and clearly show, the paths of our two struggles have been different. Inevitably, our two struggles will continue to operate along different but parallel lines. Yet, with humility before God, we recognize and acknowledge that yet with humility before God, we recognize and acknowledge that our two struggles have the same purpose, which is the liberation of our two peoples and their separate nations from enslavement in Nigeria, to liberate them from Nigeria's poverty-generating directions, and to liberate them from endless suffering, oppression, and marginalization. We will henceforth, we the two nations, seeking self-determination, will henceforth work together as two brotherly nations seeking freedom, progress, and prosperity. We are confident that by doing this, we shall make each of our struggles stronger, and we shall facilitate faster attainment of our goals. That is the major statement of today.
Well, that is the major statement, but just the next 30 seconds, both leaders also says the Yoruba and the Biafra leaders jointly affirm the immediate release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Let's hear what they have to say.
But there are two issues that we must now touch upon before we end this statement. The first is that we, the leaders of the Biafran and Yoruba self-determination struggles, hereby jointly and firmly demand the release of our brother Nnamdi Kanu from Nigeria's custody. Nigeria's courts have ordered the release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu from the unlawful captivity and detention by the Nigerian authorities. The courts have also ordered that they should return him to the place where they picked him up from. The court also ordered that he should be paid 500 million naira for his ordeal, for his unlawful ordeal. We therefore demand that Nigeria should now obey its own courts in this matter. The second.
Well, that is and the second one is just the damage as well to Chief Sunday Adeyemo Igboho. All these took place just around about 6:45 p.m. local time, from Benin Republic, where Professor Banji Akintoye was speaking, and likewise Simon Ekpa, from his own base in Finland. We will probably get the voice of Chief Sunday Igboho probably towards the end of the headline. But for now, let's go straight to some of the other headlines as we have it this morning. Once again, this is Starr Radio UK, your finest African and Caribbean radio station, as we're giving all the news headline coming out of Nigeria this morning. It seems that there is more trouble, as half salary, ASU, ESCO meet, lecturers move, sit at home. Let's remember that, February was when, ASU went on strike, up to just about some few weeks ago when they came back. Literally almost 8 months that students were at home, but it seems half salary is not going to be something they're going to take. The National Executive Council of the Academic Staff Union of University is set to meet today in Abuja. The meeting will be held at the union headquarters at the University of Abuja. The leaders of the union say the lecturers will decide whether or not a very good news, resume strike following the payment of half salary by the government. The purpose of the emergency meeting is to discuss the payment of half salary to the lecturers. Again, let's take you back to some of the other headlines as we have it this morning. Federal government punishes manufacturers' orders out of existence, according to MAN, NECA, and NISIMA. Transmission upload of result, political party CSO tackle INEC over public view of the polling result. Also, Anglican Church to federal government act on appeal court judgment, release Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. That is coming from the Anglican Church this morning as well. The 7th of November 2022 on Starr Radio UK as we continue the headline. The Church of Nigeria.
Finish that Church of Nigeria and then we go back a step. Yeah, finish that Church of Nigeria because that's very
Anglican Communion Province of the Niger. Anambra State yesterday told the federal government of Nigeria to act on the appeal court judgment and release the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, to bring peace to the southeast. The church also urged the APC Congress
All right, Olayomi, thank you. We're going to stay with the Anglican this and the statement you read. For those of us who know, what has happened here, I mean, the statement you read first, being a joint communique issued by the Biafra, and this is very, very significant because for the first time, these are not groups that are saying, let's team up together to form a separate state of our own. But they are saying your vision, your aspiration, and our aspirations are aligned. Your struggles are our struggles. If you succeed, we succeed together, and therefore let's join hands. Now, I'm going to, for those who do not know, or those of us who do not know much about Nigeria, on the screen is the map of Nigeria. So we're talking about Biafra. If you talk out to some of the states that forms the Biafra, can you see the map?
Yeah, I can see it, and I guess I've got one behind me as well. But yes, we can see it right there.
So we're talking about Biafra. Which states are we looking at? And when we're talking about the Ododuwa area, which states are we looking at?
Well, if you come down towards Ogun State or your state, let's take it from Kwara State, where the boundary is actually, so you can see the Kwara State, we can see the Kogi, coming back into, a bit of Edo and Delta. But the reason why the Yorubas, even though we know that there are so many Yorubas in Edo and Delta, but based on the fraudulent way that Nigerian has been carved out, Edo and Delta have literally been carved out from the southwest. They would have to be part of the Yoruba, at some point, because there's so many of them that are Yorubas. So if you go into Ondo State, Ekiti State, Osun State, Ogun State, Oyo State, Lagos State, these are the southwest known as the Yoruba land that was there before the 1914 amalgamation. Okay. Let's move out of that and go into, Rivers State, Akwa Ibom, Imo, Anambra, Ebonyi, Cross River, and Enugu State. These are also part of the southeast known as the Biafra land as well. If you then go a little bit up there, you will be seeing, Benue State. We look at Benue as the middle belt part of Nigeria as well. There's then you go up to the northern part. Yes, they have the landmass, but they never had the the population until 1959, when the British government actually gave more numbers to the northern part of the country, and that actually makes it today that the north has the numbers. So the problem that we are facing now is, as Nigeria is in that map that you look like, let's think about it, that you have 371 different ethnic groups joined together in 1914 by the British government, during those, colony. And the question a lot of those that are asking now is, who truly is a Nigerian among all these? Because everybody has their own different ethnics and different languages that they were speaking. Yeah. And the argument from somebody like Chief Mrs. Modupe Onitiri, one of the leader of the Yoruba self-determination as well, is let us remove the English spoken in Nigeria today, and let's see whether there will still be a country within 2 hours, because everybody will be speaking different languages that nobody will understand. We've seen such like this before. Let's take you back to Soviet Union in 1991. There was almost 15 republics that came out of it. So the argument is, should we keep Nigeria? All that will be something that will be decided, by different people that still believe in one Nigeria, as there's going to be an election for those that believe in election. But the Biafra and the Yoruba are saying that an election in our territory will not be guaranteed, and the only option now is a velvet divorce, so that everybody goes their separate ways. Starr Radio UK, your finest African and Caribbean radio station in London.
Yeah, Olayomi, thank you for that. That's very interesting. I mean, the reason I wanted us to look at that, because the statement that was released, though not specifically stating that we now want to work together and form one state, if you look at the map, see, should these two groups decide to join, you could look at a bigger chunk of Nigeria from all the way Kwara. I mean, if you take the Benue State out and all the way to the river, I mean, becoming one nation in itself. That's a huge chunk of land sparse. And if all these people are agitating, and the government seems not to be doing anything about it, then I wonder how the Araba from the Niger, the Nasarawa, the federal capital, how they're going to actually cope if these people start to agitate violently, demanding more, especially the two of them, like this, because this statement I see at the beginning of something new. It is moving to a different dimension. This agitation is moving to a different dimension. For them to agree to work together alone is very, very significant. Olayomi, let's proceed with other news.
Thank you so much, Mr. Frank. And right there again is the map, behind us, for those that would like to, study that as well. Once again, it is still the finest 27 minutes past, quite a lot, when there was a debate yesterday that was put together by one of the media in Nigeria, but it seems, the two most important presidential aspirants were nowhere to be found. Bola Tinubu was in a party which is just about 8 minutes drive from where the debate was going on, and the excuse given by his campaign is that he was too busy. Atiku is not in the country, so Okowa literally had to represent him. But there was some kind of tension in that particular debate yesterday as Peter Obi reacted against Dino Malaye, and that has been picked up by all the media this morning in Nigeria as usual. Once again, it is still the finest African and Caribbean radio station in London. So the headline says, and I quote, "Why always calling me? ? Obi lashes out at Malaye." First and foremost, I saw Shamoyele Sowore actually also play one with remember that one of the activists died last week that we talked about, so I guess they were having some kind of memorial for him. Malaye came out in his own little way, said what he wanted to say, and he was going to give 500,000 naira cash. When Sowore came onto the podium, he says, well, the effect of the CBN is actually using all the politicians carrying cash right now, to disburse cash that they have in their hands, knowing fully well that the CBN is trying to change, the currency. So that is, was something that was discussed over the weekend. The presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Peter Obi, got angry yesterday and lashed out at the spokesperson for the People's Democratic Party Campaign Council, Dino Malaye. This happened at the presidential town hall series in Abuja yesterday that was organized by the Center for Democracy and Development. The trouble began after Malaye reportedly called an attendee of the meeting Obi people, saying Obi now wow. On hearing the words of the former lawmaker Peter Obi snapped, "Stop that, Dino. Why are you always calling me? I won't take that. This man is from ANPP. Why are you calling him Obi?" And that is something. Bayelsa flood impacted 1.3 person. 96 people have died, and it seems President Muhammadu Buhari is still in London, careless about what is going on in that situation. Town planners seek federal government over population control. More reason why people are saying we can no longer wait for the center. The center cannot take care of the children. Let us have a proper deliberation in moving the country forward. I'm going to come back to you, but let's just join the social media, and then we can make it all together when I come back at exactly almost 11:33. Not a very good one. 3 people have died in Lagos-Ibadan Expressway, a lonely accident. Please drive with caution and don't drink and drive. Which is what a lot of people do in Nigeria, because after taking a couple of Guinness, they can still say we can undo the steering. It doesn't work like that. Let's go and look at Simon Ekpa this morning. The Fulanis who were bankrolling this criminal are now after him. Just look at the movement of his lips. He knows the implication of losing. Fulani will deal with him very soon. Also, 118 days before the Biafra countdown. Also, as the Yoruba are getting ready now, anytime soon the announcement of the Super Rally will be coming out as well. But as we know, Hausa is trending. I'm not sure why, but this morning Hausa is trending. But let's take a look at the overview of what is trending in Nigeria. As we have it, David Odoye, if you people lie, you shall vote for who help Nigeria. If you don't like, you can vote for Pa Ajasco and company. Do you know Pa Ajasco? I'm not sure whether you remember them. There used to be this
Papa Ajasco. Papa Ajasco.
So he's actually referring to Nigerians that if you like, you can vote for Papa Jasco and company. Whatever decision you make, you will experience the result in full, like you experienced the result of 2015. Na una sabi. That is coming from, also a very popular, skit, and he was also arrested during the SARS. He was actually almost stripped naked. Nigeria is our fear. This coming from Mr. Macaroni. The affair of the nation is our business. Who among the presidential candidates will you give your business to manage? Question mark. Who among them shows true qualities of leader and is ready to be held accountable to the people? Vote wisely. Let's take two more, and then we're gonna end this. Come to you straight in the studio again. Neferati, a very strong supporter of Peter Obi. I am not a politician. I don't care about your money bag. I want a working Nigeria. If I need money, I'll be campaigning for Atiku or Tinubu. So it seems those are where the money bags are. None of their influencer can do what I do for Peter Obi, but I am not angry. Your loot don't move me. My tweet should tell you that already. Wow, very, very hard one there. So we're gonna take from what it say from the other side as well, the self-determination groups across the social media this morning, and let's go straight to one of them, which is Ilano UK this morning, and they have there on the code Human Capital Development Initiative portal for the benefit of Awon Odudua, #Yoruba, the Yoruba youth, #Yoruba youth unemployed. This is the opportunity you have been waiting for. Click on the link below, which is iretiodoyoruba.org, which is a site that was launched by Chief Mrs. Moduko Nitiri, one of the leaders of the Yoruba self-determination, for the Yorubas to start uploading their CV in getting ready for when a declaration of a Yoruba nation will take place before the end of this year. Starr Radio UK, it is the finest African and Caribbean radio station in London, and I'll return back again to you now in the studio, Mr. Frank.
Interesting times ahead in Nigerian history's declaration of self-acclaimed
I think I lost the audio from your end there.
Okay, is that okay now? Can you hear me? Okay, if you can't hear me, I think let's do what we know what to do best. Let's go for Olayomi back. We go for Olayomi back right straight away. I think we got him back. Okay, Olayomi, are you back with us?
Yes, I am. Yes.
Okay, Olayomi is back with us. We're just waiting for those pictures to come through. But Olayomi, it's very interesting because I see a problem ahead of us. And a very, very huge problem within the next 100 days. If I were past that promise, I would have been urging people to pray, but I think this has gone beyond prayers now. All do this. I mean, someone will say, Frank, that cannot be said. Prayers can also do, because look, if we're going to have a declaration, if you cast your man back at, that map that we saw just to one side of it, you see what you call a Cameroon over there. And we know what is happening in Cameroon, southern Cameroon, where we have the Amazonians. We know what happened, the struggle of Amazonians all the way to 1996, when the university students revolted and said that, look, we're declaring ourselves. In fact, so a declaration was made. The Amazonians proclaimed themselves as a self-governing state. So when now you call and you say Cameroon, they say no, it's not Cameroon, it's the Cameroons. The French Cameroon and the English Cameroon, and they're calling themselves Amazonia. Yes, it's not been recognized yet internationally, but we do know their leaders still have protection from the UN and other things. Now, I anticipate that this is like what we're going to be confronted with when Biafra finally declared. I mean, with the statement that have just been made, are we going to see Biafra declaring at the same time that Oduduwa is declaring? Is that what we're likely to see?
Well, if you look back at that statement that was released, on Saturday, that says that inevitable the two struggles will continue to operate along different but parallel lines. Okay. So the Yoruba might declare before the Biafra, but there will be a joint as it started on Saturday between the Biafra and the Yoruba, where they will have this cordial relationship in moving forward, and some of the details will not be revealed, but we do know that Biafra are saying that they will come out of Nigeria by next year, but the Yoruba are saying that will definitely happen for them this year.
Wow. Let me take this before we come to the social media. Let me take this straight from Additional Adeyomu. It said Nigeria is not a business enterprise. It is a country that manages conglomerates of companies and enterprises. The analogy of macaroni does not hold on Nigeria. Olayomi, if you want to get into what he's saying, he says Nigeria is not a business enterprise. A business enterprise. It is a country that manage conglomerates of companies and enterprises. The analogy of macaroni does not hold on Nigeria. Who is macaroni?
Well, I think it's just an analogy to what Bishop Additional is a regular on Starr Radio UK. So when you look at Nigeria, Nigeria is not a business enterprise. So that literally means that and for those, I was actually watching what the one of the legal expert for the Nnamdi Kanu, Mike Ozakome was saying that those saying that Nigeria is indivisible, they are saying what they are not sure of, because Nigeria is actually dividable, and it was actually put together, and even without the clause, if anybody wants to go out of Nigeria, it is there under the United Nations law and chapter, and it says there, and I quote, all people have the right to self-determination. By the virtue of that right, they are freely determine their political status and freely pursue their economic, social, and cultural development. This was actually in a resolution 1514 that took place on December 14, 1960. Yeah,
and again, if you go to the UN resolution 1948, it also spells out that language, cultures of people must be respected. So if the people want to group together so that they can further promote their culture, their language, again, they have a strong silver there. Now, you spoke about the social media handle, an influencer who says, look, money does not change my head. Who is this person?
Sorry, can you repeat that?
You spoke about an influencer on social media who...
Yes, macaroni. Yes, okay. When you that's Neferati. Neferati is an influencer on social media, but a strong supporter of Peter Obi. Okay. And he was actually saying that if she wanted the money, she could have gone for Atiku or Tinubu, where the money is rolling. But Peter Obi, according to her, doesn't have the money, but have the the pedigree, according to her, to take Nigeria out of what is actually facing. How Peter Obi wants to do that to unite Nigerians, especially those that have now understand what actually is Nigeria, as against what we never knew when history was removed for a very, very long time. But again, it is a freedom for everyone to decide what they want. But she's actually saying that if she wanted to have money, she would have probably go for those two rather than working for Peter Obi. Okay. Thank you very much. I think that's because if you vote for someone who has not bought you, you are able to hold them account to account. And one challenge that we've had in Africa is that the youth have always followed money. We vote for people, and elections have consequences. Elections, whichever way you look at it, have consequences. So if you vote for someone because you'll be influenced in one way or the other by their money or whatever the gifts that you receive, what it is more like you taking a mortgage, and therefore the consequences will come when you need bread and butter and they might not be able to provide for you. Well, I mean, bear any other headlines? That will just be it, and we'll be back again tomorrow, but stay tuned with Frank for the rest of the program. I'll be back again at exactly 11 o'clock where we continue to give all the news headlined from Nigeria. All right, Olayomi, thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Olayomi coming your way with brilliant work once again from Nigeria. We are now being told that the Biafra and the Yorubas are now forging close alliance, working together. We expect them to basically continue working together. If you look at whatever they're struggling for, they're almost asking for the same bread and butter equation. They want to free themselves from what they look at as an unworkable marriage, and all this because all of them have this issue about the northern part dominating and taking the shine of them, exploiting and over exploiting their resources while they are not being looked after, their areas are not being developed. Can we have a conversation on Nigerians, if there is a Nigerian at all? Will the election that is coming in the next 100+ days hold? Will the declaration influence anything? And what will be
the consequences, what will be the aftermath of that declaration. Additionally says Nigeria is not a business, and therefore we can basically, it is a conglomerate. I mean, different companies coming together, group of companies, and therefore we can buy one out, one can move out, and the other can stay with the mother if they so wish. We'll be right back.
Yes, I want to know which way Nigeria is heading to. Every little thing that goes wrong, we start to blame the government. We know everything that goes wrong because we are part of the government. Let's save Nigeria so Nigeria won't die. Which way Nigeria? Which way Nigeria? Which way to go? Which way to go? I love my fatherland. Oh yeah. I want to know which way Nigeria is heading to. Inefficiency and indiscipline is ruining the country now. Corruption here, there and everywhere. Inflation is soaring high. Let's save Nigeria so Nigeria won't die. Which way Nigeria? Which way Nigeria? Which way to go? Which way to go? I love my fatherland. Oh sure, sure. I want to know. Yes, I want to know. Which way Nigeria is heading to. We made mistakes during the oil boom, not knowing that was our doom. Some people now have everything, while many have nothing. Let's save Nigeria so Nigeria won't fall. Which way Nigeria? Which way Nigeria? Which way to go? Which way to go? I love my fatherland. Oh yeah. I want to know. Yes, I want to know. Which way Nigeria is heading to. Green revolution is a reality. Let's give it a chance to grow. Let's join our hands to farm the land so we can have enough food to show. Let's save Nigeria so Nigeria won't die. Which way Nigeria? Which way Nigeria? Which way to go? Way to go. I love my fatherland. Oh sure. I want to know. Yes, I want to know. Which way Nigeria is heading to. Our ambition to be millionaires is running the country down. We all want to be millionaires and to live in the air. Oh, let's save Nigeria so Nigeria won't die. Which way Nigeria? Which way Nigeria? Which way to go? Which way to go? I love my fatherland. Oh yeah. I want to know. Yes, we want to know. Which way Nigeria is heading to. Remember that a simple step is the beginning of 1,000,000 miles. Let's start right now to rebuild ourselves so as to make the country smile. Let's save Nigeria so Nigeria won't die. Which way Nigeria? Which way Nigeria? Which way to go? Which way to go? I love my fatherland. Oh sure. I want to know. Yes, I want to know. Which way Nigeria is heading to. Heaven and earth will pass away. It is written in the book of God. The good people will surely find their ways, and the meek will.
SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission-free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR, S for Star, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about Sendwave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse.
Are you looking for the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy door-to-door shipment company? Well, look no further. When was the last time your family received a shipment back in Ghana on time and in time? You are not sure? Well, Lamb Shippers, we pride ourselves with being the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy shippers you can use. You are assured of prompt pickup anywhere in the UK by our personnel. They also make sure your items are well packaged to get to its destination in time. When it comes to door-to-door shipment, look no further. Well, Lamb Shippers, contact us on 07939009321 or 07498911820. Or you can visit our website www.welllamp.co.uk. You can also drop us a mail, info@welllamp@gmail.com. Well Lamp Shippers, fast, reliable, and trustworthy.
Hi there! Are you dreaming of owning your own house in Ghana? Then you will need a well-documented piece of land that is free from troubles. I highly recommend My Africa Property for any size of land that you will need. With My Africa Property, lands are available in Pram, Sopoli, Tohenia, Ogome, Dodova, Winneba, and many other locations at affordable prices. These locations are about an hour away from the airport, only 35 minutes from the motorway, 10 minutes drive from Central University College, 10 minutes drive to the beach, and close to Pram Senior High School and Ghana Men's Soccer Center of Excellence. For more details, visit our website www.myafricaproperty.com or call our UK office on 0208 123 2523. For our US and Canada offices, call us on +1 585 184 994145. You can also email us at ghana@myafricaproperty.com.
Getting onto the property ladder has never been easy until now. Join us this and every Thursday from 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. live on the Property Hour Show on Starr Radio UK, where we talk to mortgage brokers, property developers, estate agents, landlord, tenant, property consultants on how to invest or get into the property business and make money. You can't afford to miss this. The Property Hour Show is your best source into the property industry.
All right, that is true. The Property Hour Show comes your way every Thursday from 7 p.m. Please join them. Please join them. Please join them. Okay. Please join them every Thursday and get the best of information as pertain to property development. And like I told you, the industry is huge. Sometimes you need just to hear what they say, the areas that you can venture into. And in Nigeria, for instance, in Ghana, for instance, you could do that. Let me say good morning to is it Tons? Is it Tons or let me get it? That screen is far away from me, but I'm gonna put that information out. I'm gonna put that information out pretty shortly. To acknowledge our brother, or sister. All right, Tons AJs, good morning. Thank you very much. Say good morning, White Lion and Archie. That's great. And now let's continue with other headlines that are making the news. No time to go weak on net zero. Johnson tells climate summit. Climate summit COP 27. COP 27, the United Nations gathering of leaders to deliberate on climate issues is actually taking place as we speak in Egypt. The president of Senegal, the president of African Union, President Starr, who actually just addressed the gatherings, said delegates and ambassador present. He says COP is an opportunity to both develop and developing countries to either make history or be a victim of history. He says Africa is a force driving low carbon development despite the fact that the continent contributes less than 4% of global greenhouse gases. But he adds, it is those who pollute the most that should pay the most in order to get our planet off this. And a friend was speaking to me yesterday, and I was like, well, these guys, they know what they want money. African leaders, yes, they want money. The fact is, all they want is others to give them money, and under pretense of, well, climate change. It's all about money. Why do I say this? If you take my country, where I hail from, Ghana, to be precise, and you look at when COVID, a lot of countries also, move on to that channel, but let me talk about Ghana. When you put your mind to the COVID situation, when that COVID pandemic hit, there were a lot of money that was being floated around by leaders across the globe in a bid to try and help people, basically cushion the effects of the global pandemic. I understand, yes, a lot of African countries will now say, oh, COVID, like my president always said, Nana Akufo-Addo always said, and even the last time he was at the UN said, any bullet that hits Ukraine hits the Ghanaian pockets. Now, my worry and my issue over there is that, look, we know, for instance, a lot of developing countries will do their budgets and they get support from developing partners and development partners. So if you take the UK, for instance, UK allocated yearly, we're looking at about 11 billion pounds towards aid. Now, that money, for instance, part of it was spent on what they call COVID research, the vaccine research. AstraZeneca, a lot of money went there, and then the government of the UK actually subsidized the vaccine that was supposed to go to developing countries, and therefore the amount of money that was left in the pot to go to, let's say, Nigeria to support education budget, water aid, or give money to other projects, especially projects in the developing world, brilliant, went down. So if, for instance, Ghana has drawn its budget and say, okay, we expect, let's say, $3 million or £3 million from our development partners, which if you take all their budget, you see developmental support, that's what they say. If you take those issues out, they will complain and they will say, okay, yes, we have impacted. But if you look at the programs that were put in place by the World Bank and IMF and the monies that went their way, in fact, as we speak, Nigeria, for instance, signed on to a World Bank program in 2000 that allowed Nigeria to postpone or defer the payment of its debt for some years. I think it's about 6 years before they can continue to pay. That has given Buhari government a bit of leeway to do. And the view is that use those resources to resuscitate the economy so that Nigerians will benefit. Ghanaians, because we're heading towards an election that our leadership refused to sign because it comes with conditionality, some conditionality. One, you're gonna be able to account for each dollar that you spend, how you spent it. And one issue is in Ghana where the World Bank has written to Ghana government demanding audited report or accountability of how some money that was released to them in the year 2020 was spent. So you saw, if you actually follow the way those COVID money came in thick and fast, and if you look at how they spent those monies, look, no one should tell me that the foods that we saw in warehouses in Nigeria, people bought them, politicians bought them, and then we saw them being, basically stock, or basically, how do I call it, in warehouses, not given to the people who need it most, right? That's a lot of money that has gone waste. Some of these monies came from development partners, right? Now, up to date, a lot of countries have not been able to, and if you take Ghana specifically, they've not, Parliament has called them severally, they've refused to account for those monies. Now, I'm then looking at what all these African leaders, you see my president Akufo-Addo and others, Buhari was here, they all flew there. Now, if you look at what is happening, are these people real about needing this money to fight climate change? If that is the case, then we need to question leaders who have failed to tackle issues like galamsey. If you come to my country, I'll look for some videos and show you, or some pictures and show. It's so bad that the galamsey issue, galamsey is illegal mining, where people use earth moving equipment to basically illegally mine. Now, if you look at what is happening with our water bodies, and I ask myself, if our president, for instance, goes down on the West again and say, "Oh, I need money to fight climate change," what is more devastating than allowing your own people, and in fact, the government, we understand, is also involved. I mean, some members of the government are deeply involved in such illegal activities. If you look at how our water bodies have become, and you then ask yourself, are these people real and are they serious? Are they saying that, well, with that money, how about the money they've spent already on those galamseys, like when they continue to empower their own to go and do illegal money? In my view, my conclusion is that, look, all these people talking about, oh, give us African leaders parading themselves, asking for money. I'm not saying, hey, if money comes to Africa, it's not good. I want it to come to Africa, but I want it to be policed. Or if not, give it to the local people. Let the local people, with a bit of help, they will be able to champion whatever they have to do to basically help the environment. But our leaders, I do not trust them. I do not trust them at all. I'm going to play you a video pretty shortly, and this is coming from Ghana. You will have a look at what has happened. You have a look at the water, and it's very, very bad. Okay, now let's go to other headlines once I bring you. We are on a highway to climate hell, UN chief warns. That's again what is coming. It says richer countries should pay for loss and damage suffered by those most affected by climate change. I agree. Tan, who is the international spokesperson for Youth Advocate for Climate Action Philippines, says the global north multinational companies and the fossil fuel industry have caused destruction in the lives of many across the world. The people in the global south, like the Philippines, are already suffering the most from the climate crisis, and they need to pay for that, she tells news. I do agree. And what are we looking at? People are targeted by 100 billion. I'm saying that is possible because at the end of the day, if you look at the war in Ukraine, US alone has given out almost a 40 billion. So if the will is there, I do believe there'll be a way. If they really want to solve the problem, they will solve the problem without any trouble. If they want to gather the money, they will get the money, because the money, they can create it, they print it, and we know what happens after that. So I'm going to try and bring you this video. a bit later on. Let's go to Adana, and you see what is happening to our beloved country. Again, let's take the climate issue. Again, we say what world leaders are set to discuss action to tackle climate change. Again, we heard a lot last year where that was happening somewhere in Scotland. We were told it was a defining moment. We were told action ought to have been taken and years ago, and last year 26 was a defining moment. We heard that, but what has happened after that? Why are we still today talking about today be a defining moment when last year we said the same thing? If it did not happen last year, what's the guarantee that it's going to happen now? Those are some of the questions we ought to be asking, and we'll continue to ask them. What's the guarantee that it's going to happen now? And if you reside in an area affected by climate change, we see it all everywhere. Flooding Nigeria, as we speak now, a lot of people have lost their everything, their homes, their farms, swept away by the weather condition. If you look at Pakistan, for instance, we're told the flooding has actually consumed about 9% of arable land this year alone. 9% of arable land in Pakistan is gone. And again, those who are tied to the land are those who are going to suffer. So we are going to have basically, we're going to be suffering the effect of that. we're going to be suffering the effect of that. But do you think we should be giving our brothers and sisters money to go and do what with it, especially our governments who are not accountable and do not want to? What do you think will be your solution? What will be your solution? Do you think we should give them more money? I don't know, but I do think that yes, because Africans need money. We should not just look at the corruption that is happening at the top and things. So let me play you this video. There are some images that are very troubling, but this is what a lot of rivers in Ghana, especially in Ashanti Eastern region, this is how they look today.
400 kilometers from Techiman in the Bono East region, the once clean fish-laden water source has now turned milky brown with little sign of life. We took a trip to Samraboy in the western region of Ghana to investigate the source of its pollution.
This bridge links Samraboy behind me and Inchi ahead of me. Now this same bridge covers the river Tano in the western region. Now this is the Tano River. Milky, dirty. It looks like there is no life in it at all. Who is destroying the river Tano?
Michael Inyebribi Tanoe was named after this river. He has been fishing here for about 40 years now.
I've been fishing about 40 years. I used to start from 6 o'clock in the evening to early in the morning, night time. I'll keep on fishing, and during the day I have to sell the fish throughout the month so that I use that money to pay my school fees. Before, the river was just clean, and even when you are using your canoe, you can see the fish moving around. And sometimes we use bottle and put gari inside, put it inside the river, stand outside, and you can see the fish going around it. And then when any of them enter, quickly you rush and take the fish out.
After hours of fishing today, he only caught few fishes.
This morning, the fish that I got this. Before, the same amount of net I'm using, I can get a fish almost a basket full, very short and nice. But nowadays, the fish has become long, and the fin have been changed as if they have designed it.
Recent events, he says, have changed the course of the river and the life in it.
Because it's very, very dirty.
Right, that's just a glimpse of. I don't want to bring it up, but that is, I mean, what we witness. And so climate issues is not something we should joke with. But the video you just saw, that's a river as we speak now in Ghana. So when we have a president who basically seen this under his watch, parading himself, millions, don't forget, they told us millions have been popping in there, telling us that, oh, you know what, give me more money, or we need, you see, the global, I mean, the big industries, I mean, the advanced countries, yes, they've played their part in polluting the environment, but what are we doing as a people today? Right? We cannot always blame the West. We cannot always blame the West, because this pollution is being done primarily by Ghanaians and Chinese, right? It's been done primarily. Don't forget, we have the military, we have the police, we do have what do you call it? The regional minister, we do have the regional security council, we do have the district level, we do have the local representatives over there, the chiefs are also over there. So you watch this happening I mean, we cannot continue to blame the West always. Anyway, let's proceed with our news item. We'll come back to that video, probably the full length of it at the end of the program, getting to the end of the program. Let's take two more news from this side, and then we'll hurriedly get to the US, where we do have a development that is ongoing, and then we will. Okay, let's come to Europe. Let's come to what is happening elsewhere. Let's go to Europe. Let's go to Ukraine war, and then we'll be looking at Russia-Ukraine war list of key events. That's what as the Russia-Ukraine war enters day 257 today. We take a look at what has happening. What has been happening. We know one of the area that is controlled by Russia is almost in total darkness. And then in the capital itself, the former boxer, who is actually the mayor of the capital, has warned residents to be prepared to evacuate that city should they have a total blackout. We understand almost 40% of total energy supply is gone. Russian installed administration in Ukraine's Kherson region said a number of settlements, including Kherson city, had lost water and power supplies after what it called an act of sabotage. Is the sabotage coming from the Ukrainians, or it is coming from what they call the Russia occupiers? But I wonder how it's going to be coming from the occupiers themselves. But that is what is happening in Ukraine. That's what is happening in Ukraine. That war is lingering than with over the weekend. I chanced on a news. I don't know how far that's true here to verify it. Although in the UK over here, we've not seen any major news headline apart from I think Daily Telegraph that touched on it, where we understand that the US administration has urged Zelensky to be flexible and open his mind for negotiation, because Zelensky has last month actually signed a decree saying that look, he is not prepared to basically negotiate with Putin, that the people of Ukraine and under his leadership will only negotiate with anyone who replaces Putin. I don't know if he was thinking about what he was saying actually anyway, and whether he thought the West is going to back him till the end. Yes, the Biden administration have given some indication, but from where we sit and from what we are hearing, I do not think that is going to be forever, because over here, for instance, we understand foreign aid budget is now facing pressure from the UK, right? They've been giving a lot of money also to the Ukraine. Now in the US, a different card is being played over there as we speak. The Democrats, who control both the Senate, the presidency, and the House of Representatives, tomorrow they're going for midterm election. That midterm election could actually change the dynamics of whatever is going on there. We know Biden has a turn for Ukraine, and you will recall, for those who follow us religiously, that Hunter Biden was to be investigated for his dealings in Ukraine. And we also understand, or we understood, that Donald Trump was actually pursuing debt on Biden from Ukraine. And people at the Republicans are now beginning to question whether Biden and Ukraine, what is actually the common interest over there. So the Republicans are stating that, look, should they take control of the Senate, they will not allow a blank check to be given to Ukraine. Some have even gone ahead to say not even a cent will again be sent to Ukraine, because domestic issues must take precedent and priority over whatever is going over there. Now, so what we're likely to see therefore is, should the Republicans take control of the Senate, you're likely to see an administration, or is where the US will now start pushing Zelensky to negotiate. Is Zelensky prepared for that? Different ball game. We do not know much about that. We wait to see what happens. Putin endorses evacuation from occupied Kherson. Russia also evacuating civilians from that. Russia said they will take my baby. A medic has said. I think we look at that. A Ukraine woman suffered months of poor treatment and condition while pregnant in Russia prison. These are some of the disheartening stories that you hear that come. Right, let's jump straight with, because of our time, let's jump straight to Africa. Let's go back to Africa. Passenger plane with 40 fighting. We've touched on that story already. DRC announces general mobilization of youth to take on M23. Democratic Republic of Congo is at the bridge of a major war. Basically, they are actually going for a major war. The Congolese army has announced general mobilization of youth to fight the rebels from the M23 movement or M3, who are gaining ground in Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo. It follows calls by DRC President Felix Tshisekedi for youth militant groups. At a news conference, the Army Chief Major General Sylvain Ikenge said, "The nation is in danger and it needs its worthy sons and daughters to serve it under the flag. To defend the integrity of the territory, the armed forces of the DRC are really recruiting large numbers of young people to serve under the flag." I don't know if these people are going to be trained properly. Why not have army of 500,000 or even 1 million Congolese? That is what they're saying. Is it the danger I see over here is we want to be promising a lot of these people, giving them high hopes, whilst we need them to fight now. Now, what is going to happen is, should they go to war, should they win the war, whichever way, they will come back and they're going to be needing jobs. They're going to be needing the promises that you made to us. Fulfill them. May I say that those promises in times of war, mobilization of soldiers, that is what gave Africa the momentum, the privilege, and helped basically to attain the kind of independence in the way we did in the early from the 40s right down to 50s up to the 19, the youngest babies that we're having on the block, South Sudan and others. Now, if you look at the 28th of February shooting that occurred in Ghana, where the soldiers, the returnees, were agitating, advocating that, look, you promised us A, B, C, they fulfilled them. That resulted in a lot of support. They gathered a lot of support from within the country itself. It pushed the leadership, the likes of Nkrumah, to basically say, no, we cannot. So they know and they knew the nation would have supported them should they have gone. So I'm not saying that was the only major event that was responsible, but it played a major part in the way the nation rallied around those who were leading the fight. So that is my danger. That is my only danger. Now look, you mobilize these people, some will be casualties of war. Yes, you finish mobilizing them, and then when it comes to issue of delivering on the promise, giving them what you've promised them, as to whether you are going to be able to, do not forget, these ones are going to be armed anyway. They're going to be armed, right? An armed trader somewhere is going to make huge sums of money from we killing ourselves. Are we going to come back to say, oh, they will promise you we could develop? And that is exactly that I have with politicians, and I've asked the same question about the leadership of the Dodua Yoruba nation, that look, don't give us hope that you cannot fulfill. If you are leading us, I would have preferred you give us a blueprint of what you do. I understand you've started demanding for CVs. Don't do what Kufuor did when he assumed power, collecting CVs, giving people high hopes, and then failing them to provide them the jobs, and that resulted in a problem for the then government. So let's push on with other news headlines. We'll be jumping to Ghana pretty shortly. Kenya, okay, let's go for let me jump that story. Tanzania PM to lead funeral. Yes, I think we console them and we mourn with them. Ghanaians take to street demanding resignation of President Akufo-Addo. Now let's take to that story. Let's go to that story briefly. Hundreds of Ghanaians took to the street of the capital Accra on Saturday, that was the 5th of November, calling for the resignation of President Akufo-Addo following record inflation and government handling of economic crisis. After one promising a Ghana without aid, that was Akufo-Addo. Last week, President Akufo-Addo urged Ghanaians to support his decision to seek an IMF bailout. The economic crisis is affecting people from all walks of life. Let me leave it over there. So basically, there was a major demonstration, but there's a conflict of interest in the way your president is ruling with his cousin. Let me bring that. The cousin is actually the finance minister. So the president Akufo-Addo appointed his cousin as the finance minister. And what is even troubling, and a lot of Ghanaians have cited, is that the finance minister engages his company, his private company, to be the one who broker deals for Ghana, which whenever we're going for loans. And people argue that motivated the company total net assets, net worth, net asset under management prior to 2016 or 2017 when President Akufo-Addo came to power was less than $1 billion. And do not forget, this was a company that was established in 1996, I read about, and has run all the way to the year 20. That's over, I'll call it a 20 years period. The company had about $900 million under its management. As we speak, between 2016 to date, the company now has over $5 billion under its management. So the question is, what magic? We saw this abnormal increase in what your company is making as profit only when you became the finance minister. You brought all workers or a lot of workers to the central bank, and every deal decision that are taken, they are being taken by you and your uncle. So basically, that's what Ghanaians are saying. Lead convener of the Kumeprekun Reloaded movement which organized the protest, Martin Luther Kwebu, who is also a lawyer, for every CD and dollar we borrow, the president family benefits through a data bank which advises and helps to sell government security. So we are here to tell the president that he should step down. Enough of the cronyism, enough of nepotism, enough of the corruption. Ghana is taking $3 billion loan from the IMF to cope with the record inflation. Of the government is selling at 37%, but analysts are telling you, look, it's over 100%. Ghana debt to GDP ratio as we speak today is over 100%. It's over 100%. So that is what is happening. Ghanaians are crying. The economy is gone down. Is gone down. Let me take this story. Young Cameroonians lead calls for an end to Bias 40 presidency. Right. Let me come to presidency of Africa, because something is again happening in Guinea Equatoria, where Bian is that his name, is seeking the 6th term re-election. 2 generations of Cameroonians have been born under the president of Paul Biya, who on 6th of November, that was yesterday, was marking 40 years of undivided rule. I don't know what he means by undivided rule. What I'm going to do, tomorrow we're going to arrange to see if we get Dr. Kwanga in the house. Biya, now 89 years old and in poor health. Some people think it may be a good time for a change, but fear the instability that may follow. That's the same card we're hearing from Guinea Equatoria. He said he's been He represents peace and stability. So let's stick to this camera. We don't even live on hope anymore. You can't live on hope. You can't live on hope. Someone is quoted as saying, many young Cameroonians have never known a leader other than Biya, but after 7 re-elections, they are beginning to say it is time to see someone else in charge. I was born in 1988 and I have only known His Excellency in power. His Excellency Biya in power. And I would like to know another president. For me, it is important. I am not in politics, but I want to see at least another person lead the country. So basically, I think that is what the young people are calling for, and it will be good. It will be good if we can have that happening. So Paul Biya, we do not know if he's going to seek election, but you know what? Once his brother is doing it somewhere in Africa, expect him to also do it. Equatorial Guinea president want to seek another term, want to seek the 6th term. He's also done over 40 years in power, but he still wants more. And you ask yourself, what again do these people want? What again are they looking for? Why wouldn't they allow others to actually also showcase what God has given them? So, well, Paul Biya marks 40 years in power. Another man also marks 40 years in power. He wants to seek another term. As to whether the Equatorial Guinea man, as to whether Paul Biya is going to go again, that we cannot tell. But what we do know, he's outlived his usefulness in power, if you ask me personally, and I'll ask him to leave and leave now. Somalia prohibits use of name Al-Shabaab. So basically the name Al-Shabaab itself is being banned in Somalia. So let's look at what is happening. Somalia Religious Affairs Ministry has banned the use of the name Al-Shabaab. The youth in Arabic, the youth, that's the meaning, the youth in Arabic, and asked the public to refer to the militant group as Khawarij. That's a derogatory term meaning a defiant sect. Now, in a statement, the ministry also prohibits clerics from dealing with Al-Qaeda allied militants or meeting them. The government said the directive to brand Al-Shabaab as a militant, or probably in their language, what do you call it, Khawarij, was part of the war against the group. It is not the first time the Somalia government has coined another name for the Al-Shabaab group. As to whether this time we're going to have it work, I wish it works. I wish it works. Ladies and gentlemen, at exactly 12:30, we're going to be having our morning, our business hour with Linda. Linda is going to be joining us all the way from Cyprus. We're going to be looking at Career 101. Career 101. Linda is going to be joining us pretty shortly. Linda is going to be joining us pretty shortly. If you are into business, if you're looking for business ideas, and if you look for someone who you want to derive some knowledge, wisdom from, someone who can help you, I would recommend any other person than Linda. We call her our HRH, Her Royal Highness, will be joining us pretty shortly. And today she also has a lot of books. We're going to be looking at types of interviews and interview questions. So for those of you who might be looking for jobs, type of interview questions is what we're going to be looking at today. Stay tuned, don't go anywhere. Stay tuned, we're going to be bringing you Linda pretty shortly. Now let's go back to Africa, and we'll end with this story coming from Ghana. We'll end with this story coming from Ghana. This story coming from Ghana. It's very important. It's very important that stay true. And for those of you who love football, congratulations to my Arsenal boys. Yesterday they trounced Arsenal 1-0. I know some people don't like it, but I'm an Arsenal fan. Announced to Premier new Galamsey investigation. on 14th. That was next week Monday. Like I told you, this Galamsey issue is something that is destroying, and I think it's something that some of us are going to be following. We're going to be bringing a lot of videos. It's something that is happening. It's destroying our environment to the point where even farmers now have to buy packaged water or bagged water with the little resources that they do not have. So one major development is that a lot of journalists are doing a lot for one notable a key amount these people is announced. He actually did a video or did an investigation where we saw government officials receiving bribe from miners, and actually Charles Bishop issue. Up to now, the president has not prosecuted them. Nothing has been done by this government. That's why we say, if the president is seen at COP 27, he was at COP 25, COP 24, and if he's seen at COP 27, asking the world leaders to give them money so that they can help solve the climate problem, tell them, someone say, Isalu, they are lying. They just need the money to go. I prefer money goes to NGOs, local NGOs. I also do not like Oxfam and other things, because when they tell you that 10,000 naira has been allocated to you, they take half of it. They tell you consultancy fee, workers and other stuff. I prefer an NGO in Niger Delta being given money, trained to be able to help cope with the devastating that might be going out there, rather than giving it to foreign entity or giving it to government. I do not subscribe to that at all. Ladies and gentlemen, it's exactly 12:30 and Linda is already here. We're going to bring you Career 101. Let's take a quick commercial break, and then we'll go straight to Career 101. Today we're looking at questions, the type of questions you should expect. We'll be right back.
Hi guys, this is your friend Uruj from SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR. S for Star, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse.
Are you looking for the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy door-to-door shipment company? Well, look no further. When was the last time your family received a shipment back in Ghana on time and intact? You are not sure? Well, Lamb Shippers, we pride ourselves with being the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy shippers you can use. You are assured of prompt pickup anywhere in the UK by our personnel. They also make sure your items are well packaged to get to its destination intact. When it comes to door-to-door shipment, look no further. Well, Lamb Shippers, contact us on 07939009321 or 07498911820. Or you can visit our website www.welllamb.co.uk. You can also drop us a mail, info@welllamb@gmail.com. Well Lamb Shippers, fast, reliable, and trustworthy.
Hi there. Are you dreaming of owning your own house in Ghana? Then you will need a well-documented piece of land that is free from troubles. I highly recommend My Africa Property for any size of land that you will need. With My Africa Property, lands are available in Pram, Sopoli, Tohinia, Ogome, Dodova, Winneba, and many other locations at affordable prices. These locations are about an hour away from the airport, only 35 minutes from the motorway, 10 minutes drive from Central University College, 10 minutes drive to the beach, and close to Prum Prum Senior High School and Ghana Men's Soccer Center of Excellence. For more details, visit our website www.myafricaproperty.com or call our UK office on 0208 123 2523. For our US and Canada offices, call us on +1 585 184 994145. You can also email us at ghana@myafricaproperty.com.
Getting onto the property ladder has never been easy until now. Join us this and every Thursday from 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. live on the Property Hour Show on Starr Radio UK, where we talk to mortgage brokers, property developers, estate agents, landlord, tenant, property consultants on how to invest or get into the property business and make money. You can't afford to miss this. The Property Hour Show is your best source into the property industry.
Career 101 with the one and only HRH Linda Palian, all the way in Cyprus. And let me say good afternoon to you, Linda.
Good afternoon. How are you?
I'm doing very, very well. How are you too?
Fantastic. It's been really busy but good.
That's great. Now, how has the weather been for you?
Oh, well, we started summer ages ago and it's just been that.
What is the temperature like there?
I think we're still in 30s. Oh. 27 now.
Oh, yeah, 27? Yeah, I can tell you that London, we are 29, we are enjoying. Yes.
Okay, fine, you win.
That's good. That's all I wanted. I wanted you to admit that I've won and then we can go. well, listeners, HRH Linda Palian for you. Yes, what are we looking at today?
Well, today we're looking at interview questions, types of interview questions, as more and more people are changing careers now and looking for their next step, seeing as you're going to be staying in England for a while.
Okay, types of interview questions with HRH Linda Palian on Career 101. So over to you. What are some type of interview questions?
So today I want to look at about 6 broad categories of interview questions, and then I'll give you some examples of what to expect. Interviews are super daunting for a lot of people because of the uncertainty that comes with it. But there are some things that you can definitely prepare for, and the more prepared you are, the more relaxed a process will be for you. So without further ado, we'll get started, I guess.
Yes, let's go on.
The first type of questions that you can get asked are opener questions, and that you'll get asked within the first few minutes that your interview starts. An opener question is to set the tone. It gives you an overview of how they would like the interview to go, and it's your time to shine and express yourself, because it's a relatively easy question. Usually about you, so you're the expert on you, and you can set the tone by going in very casual and relaxed. So an example of an opener question will be, tell us a bit about yourself. That's an open question, so it's not a yes or no answer. It's fairly broad. They have your resume, your CV, your cover letter. So ideally you wouldn't go into just only saying what's in the CV and the cover letter. A lot of people do that. Oh, I studied here, I've done this job experience, but the interviewer knows all of that. You can highlight the key experiences, the key skills that you have, but ideally telling them something else that's outside the scope of a CV would help them to get to know you more. This is where you're supposed to be at ease, so you can include your hobbies, you can include some of your extracurricular stuff that you've done, or just personality and value traits as well, to paint a rounded picture about you. So if you get asked, tell me a bit about yourself, this is generally what your interviewer is looking for, what your interests are, what your passions are, and just to put you at ease and set the tone of the interview. Now, if you're in the situation and you're still very nervous and you've even prepped this question and you're uncomfortable, your discomfort makes the interviewers, however many of them there are, also uncomfortable, because on the one question where you're the expert, you're still nervous, so you can't break the ice easily, and it sets the tone for the rest of the interview. So definitely, if you're asked that, definitely prepare for this question in advance. And I always say that with these questions, you can prepare in advance, write your answers down, know exactly what you're going to say, and it helps you just to be prepared. So that's an opener question, an example of an opener question. And then the second type of interview question you'll have are competency questions. And competency questions are testing your knowledge on certain skills we call competencies in the career field. And competencies are, an example of that is leadership, maybe communication, team working skills. So this will be, tell me an example of a time when you successfully worked within a team, for example. That's a competency question. And by the framing of the question, you can see that we're looking for an example, a scenario. We want you to build a picture. Because it's well and good to say on your CV, I have great leadership skills. But an example is even better. So in your interview, regardless of what job you're going for, you will be asked at least one competency question. And the best way to do this is to paint a clear and accurate picture which depicts your particular involvement and showcasing that skill. So for example, tell me a time when you've exhibited good team working skills. I always say that you can use a Starr or Carl format. And if you don't know what that is, read my book.
Yes, that's a good one.
Yeah. But in short, a Starr or Carl format will help you to phrase your answers in a way that paints a picture. Starr, S stands for situation. So within the context of my previous job, or the situation was we had a new project and I was elected team leader for it. So you paint the picture. That's what the S in Starr stands for. T is the task. What was the task about? So we had to put together this new team or do this new project. A is action. What action did you specifically do within the teamwork? Even though the question's about teamwork, you're the one being interviewed, so we want to know your particular involvement in it, what particular role you took within the team to have that outcome. And then the R in Starr is results. Okay, so that's the Starr form, a situation, task, action, results. So when you use that framework, you're able to paint a clear picture. But that's a quick overview about it. If you want to know more, you can definitely get in touch. But that's how to answer a competency question that will showcase the skill that is being asked. The other type of question you can be asked in an interview is a motivation question. A motivation question. So that is, why do you want this job? Where do you see yourself in 5 years? Why did you apply to this company? These are testing your motivation, your reason why you're here, and to see if you're a great fit for the company. So ideally, you would have thought about these questions beforehand. A lot of people by default will say, oh, because you're an international company and you have a great ethos or whatever it is, rattle something from their website. That might get you a pass depending on their job interview, but you want to do a lot more to showcase your intent that this was deliberate rather than I saw that you were hiring and I just applied. So the more detailed you can be about what your motivation is, the better it looks to an interviewer. So for example, I noticed that your team has taken part in this project and that aligns with my values and I wanted to work for this company. Or having established yourself over blah, 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 you've achieved this, and try and be as specific to the team as you're going to be working with. For example, if you went for a multinational company and say you won an award for corporate sustainability, for example, and the team you're involved with wasn't involved in that award or doesn't really embody sustainability as the overall company does, you won't build the rapport that you need in that interview. So make sure that you do the research to get as close to the job description or the team that you're going to be working with. That will stand you in good stead rather than talking about the company as a whole. We know from your work experience that sometimes the manager or the visionaries goal for the team, for the business, is not always what happens on the ground. So you want to be able to relate as much as possible to the people or the team that you're working with, or people who are doing the job. Okay, so we've had open-up questions, competency questions, and motivation questions. I hope you're following so far.
Yes, we are following closely.
So the next question you will get asked in interviews is a fit question. And again, talking about niching it down to the team that you'll be working with. Are you a great fit for the team? So an example of this question will be, what working environment brings the best in you? And with these, you want to be as honest as possible. It's called a fit for a reason. If it's not a great fit for you, you can't fake it. It'll just be a short-term employment for you. So ideally, you'd be as honest as possible. Thanks to the pandemic, a lot of people have tried working from home or some sort of remote working. So at least now we have an overview of what working in the office is like, what working remotely is like. So you can be able to give a well-rounded answer, or maybe a hybrid environment where you're doing some days in the office and some days at home, and why that is for you. And when you're answering this question, you want to talk about perhaps your personal circumstances as well. Actually, being able to knuckle down in my home office makes me more productive, and that in turn means that I can do more work for the company. You always want to speak to their listening. So if it makes you more productive, why is it a benefit for them? Or being part of a team and working in the office and being available for people to ask questions brings out the best of the teamwork, and it helps with team cohesiveness, and that's the environment I work best in. We'll also, depending on what role you're applying for, will help them to fit you in the right environment. Avoid the generic, I'm flexible, because it doesn't say too much. Of course, you can say that you're flexible after showing a preference, of course. But if you're asked, try and pick a side. Okay. And then the fifth question that you might be asked, type of question you might be asked, is a self-awareness question. A self-awareness question. And I particularly love these when I'm interviewing, because it really it puts the candidate on the spot, but it also tells you a lot about the candidate. So, for example, a self-awareness question is to showcase if you can be self-reflective and honest. So, what is your biggest weakness, for example? It's an example of a self-awareness question. And you want to see if they're self-aware, they understand their weaknesses and strengths, what they've done about it as well, their weaknesses and strengths, and if you can corroborate the story or not. You know, a lot of times when I've been interviewing people, and a lot of people again stick to the generic answers they'll find online, and they'll say maybe my biggest weakness is that I work too hard on myself, or whatever it is, or I have too much attention to detail. And then you're like, well, your CV is full of mistakes, so I know that's not true. Or you haven't even answered the question properly, so that attention to detail isn't true. You really want to be honest, but in a way that doesn't harm your chances of getting that that particular position. And if it does, then it probably isn't the right position for you. Okay. That lots of creatives will say, "I like to get everything perfect," and that's usually true of creatives. So that can be forgiven. But how then do you mitigate that? Do you finish on time and then check stuff, or do you give yourself enough time to complete the project? But the more open and honest you can be, the better it will be to place you in the right position for you in the long term. And then finally, what I've dubbed trick questions. They're not really trick questions, but for want of a better word, I call them trick questions in the book. And you may have heard these, or maybe experienced these yourself. These are the sort of Google type questions. I think Google was the first company to make them very popular in the HR space. And you can have examples of, if you were an animal, what animal would you be and why? Or if you were shrunk to the size of a penny and put in a blender, and the blender was going to start in 2 seconds, explain how you would get out.
Wow.
Or how many trees are there per a square mile in the Amazon? Something like that. And these are called trick questions because they're not the most, there isn't a right or wrong answer.
Okay.
But it's to show your thought process. For example, the Amazon question, how would you go about that critical thinking? How would you go about even making an educated guess about how many trees there are? Or if you were an animal, what animal would you be? Shows maybe some of the subconscious personality traits that you may have. When we talk about workplace personalities, we have like a fox, you have a lion, you have the trustworthy mules.
Yeah.
And if you haven't looked at workplace personalities, I know which one you are. Again, it's trying to see what personalities will fit in what environment in the workplace. So think about these questions beforehand, and the more familiar you are with these questions, the less likely you are to be stunned about them. I always use myself for example. I think one of my interview questions straight after graduation, I got asked if I was a flavor of a crisp, what flavor would I be? And I had no idea about this stuff at the time.
I feel I said salt and sugar.
I remember answering, I don't eat crisps because I don't.
Oh my.
But then I ended up saying, well, what I do have is dried mango because it's sweet and it's good.
Oh, okay. That's a good one.
There. But it did during my career coaching training. It made me laugh when I actually understood the meaning of these questions. Understanding some of these trick questions will really help you in an interview to be prepared, but also not to be nervous or to be faced by it. Because I can imagine if you've never heard of these, it could be quite daunting to go, oh well, how would I know? And then you get stuck. And if it helps, by the way, with the sort of critical thinking questions like the Amazon, you can talk to, actually it's advisable to talk through your thinking process. So you can say, in a square mile, if we say the average size of a tree is X amount of centimeters or whatever measuring system you use, then in a square mile, I can imagine that you fit X amount in. Therefore, and then I estimate that there will be this many amount of trees. It just shows your thinking process and your you remember in high school math the process of your work, and even if you don't get the right answer,
at least they know that you were thinking through it.
Exactly. So that would be another way to do it. Even if the answer is completely thorough, it will show how you thought about it.
Okay. Well, listeners, Career 101 with HRH Linda Pallian, and today we've been looking at types of interview questions. Now that we know, because of the COVID and people losing jobs, and all staff, that we know that people will be going for applying for various jobs, and interviews is something that you cannot do without. But if you're having a problem with any issue there, that is what we've discussed today. But you will have the details when you have Linda's book. You go through them and it will give you everything that you need to know. It's virtually like holding your hands to the interview panel and then you coming out successfully. That is exactly what the book promises to deliver. So it is not only peculiar to the UK, across the globe, wherever you go and you're supposed to be in an interview, these are skills that you will need on that floor. But it is Starr Radio UK. Let me ask you just a quick one, and then we can bring the discussion to a close. Now, that's the fifth question. You know, it is like you were saying, someone might try to impress because I want to be accepted. So they might say things that actually they don't actually mean it, but under the situation, because they are desperate, they want it. Now, how should they prepare themselves in that case then?
There is an outright lie, and then there is bending the truth.
Bending the truth and outright lie. Okay, that's a good one.
Hopefully you shouldn't be super keen to impress, because an interview is a two-way process. It should be right for you as you are for them. But if you find yourself in the situation where you feel you're desperate for this job, you can figure out things that you could improve on that are not detrimental to the job, and then talk about it in a way that is true to you.
Okay.
So you met the weaknesses, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yes. So, for example, if you were looking for a job as maybe a warehouse laborer, and you know that you're not punctual, and they've asked you what your biggest weakness is, you could say, well, in the past I haven't been, but what I have done now is that I set my alarm a little bit earlier, or I try to be. So that was the feedback I received in the past, and then you can show that you're aware of it and you're doing something about it. So that if you do slip up when you're hired, you did tell them, and say that you worked on it. So it's still true for you, And of course, if it's something where it's a just-in-time process, like an Amazon delivery, where you cannot afford not to be punctual, then maybe that shouldn't be the job you apply for.
Yeah. Wow, interesting. Now, one last one. With all these pointers that you've given, the various questions that you put across. Now, if somebody has at times people get nervous when you use the icebreaker and stuff like that, but still they are nervous. You know that after the first question, still they become a bit. Do you think that people should rehearse that at home? Maybe put a chair there and then sit there, imagine that there are people there, and then try to go through some questions, answering some questions. Do you think that's a good move?
Definitely, and I would recommend it whether you're nervous or not, because preparing gives you this confidence, knowing that you've done everything you could do, and sometimes just being in that position and being able to observe your body language or the way your voice is stuttering as you're speaking, even if there's no one in the room, because your mind, you're training your mind to believe that you're in there, in an interview situation. You might find that your voice is shaking, so then you're aware of your tics and you can do something about it before it happens. I mean, I do a lot of interview preparation for my candidates before they go out, and I definitely highly recommend it, because I'm usually the worst first interviewer they'll meet, and the interviewer they'll meet will probably be a lot nicer to them, but because I'm preparing them, I'm looking for everything, the body language, I'm looking at your tone of voice, the eye contact, the enthusiasm, sort of the words you use, even down to subtle nuances. You might say a lot, for example, which might which might hinder your message. Or you might use words, oh, I'm just a stay-at-home mom, or I just work on the toilet. You might diminish your achievements. So by recording yourself and practicing this, when you play the film back, and definitely try and record yourself, you'll hear that maybe I say a lot, or actually I made this sound like it was nothing, but it was a big deal. And then you change the language you use to make it more empowering and more impressive, as it should be.
Okay. Thank you very much, Linda. Listeners, I didn't hear that bit. I didn't hear the last bit.
I said I was just demonstrating the
yes. Yes, it's good. Okay, listeners, it is Starr Radio UK, HRH Linda Pallian for you. We're bringing the conversation to a close. But Linda, before we go, some of your books and your contact address. Ooh, yes. So over to you. Talk about it briefly, please.
So fantastic. The careers books are out. All of the 3 books in the series are out. The first, How to Career, shows you the first How to Career shows you how to evaluate an opportunity, whether you should be going to a career for, if the career will be the right one for you or not. And it's a simple 6 steps that you can use to evaluate any business opportunity. The second book is the Career Success Tools. This is a thick book, as you can see, and this is everything you need. You know, how to prepare for an interview, how to sell yourself, how to network if you're a shy person, how to network if you're confident, unconventional applications, everything you need to succeed and to make a lasting career or to make an impression in your career is contained in this book. And it's super practical. It takes you step by step, and you can sort of take what you're doing well and what you can improve on, how to handle your personal and professional social media. All of that is contained in that book. And the third one is the workbook, which you can definitely take to interviews. Today's program I've been using from this book, and it shows you job interview questions, how to ace your interview. So we talk about it, and then it gives you a place to fill out your interview questions, sort of how to handle objections, what objections might come up in your interview. And it's a super practical workbook that you can take. You can prepare all the Starr examples in here, so you can have this and take this in an interview with you, because then you'll have it plus all the questions you'll ask for the interviewer. So it's super practical, and it's thin enough so that you can take it A5 and you can take it with you in the interview. And it just shows that you're prepared and that you've invested in yourself and you've done the work. So these are all available on Amazon.com.uk and around the world, Japan, Australia, Canada. And they're super affordable books, and they're pretty much all you need. If you can't afford career coaching, this is definitely the way to go. And if you can afford career coaching, then do both. Of course.
Okay. That's good.
So that's
great. Your contact details, please.
Absolutely. You can find out more about the books and get in touch on lindapallian.com, or mychairlinda.com, which will tell you definitely a lot more about the career series and the career books. Also, you can contact me directly on my Instagram at Linda Pallian or at mychairlinda, Facebook and LinkedIn as well. Linda Pallian. Linda is spelled Linda, Pallian Pallien, or at mychairlinda, which is MyCheerlinda, because I'm your cheerleader in success.
Well, she's my cheerleader, and she can be your cheerleader as well. Right? She'll be cheering you all the way to what? Looking for your profession, seeking the profession, all the way to the interview and to the success as well. So, Linda, let me say thank you very much for this wonderful time.
Absolute pleasure. Thank you so much.
Okay. Have a lovely day. We'll catch up later.
Yes, you too.
Right. Bye. Well, listeners, it is Starr Radio UK. We're bringing the program to a close, but a couple of people who have been...
This is Starr Radio UK.
Yo! Them have to do everything possible to see a black man go down. No more to leave your Obama. president of modern day Babylonia. Barack Obama is his name, all the way from Africa and not Apollonia. We did tell you, Mr. Obama, to be wary of the racist vampires from far and near. Now is the time to put on your African thinking cap and invoke the spirit of Africania. Boom! Boom! Bim! Boom! Bombs fly! Weapons fly! In Tripoli and Benghazi, including Al-Sisiya. In the name of protecting civilians, more blood is shed in oil-rich Libya. Boom! Boom! Taliban war, it's a Taliban war. The oil, all of them are wanted. A boom boom, all of them are dying. A boom boom, all of them are perishing. I cry, 'cause Barack in a trouble, Obama in a trouble. Why? Racial discrimination in America. Why? Boom, boom, bing, bam, boom. Double standard America invokes the satanic spirit of Ronald Reagan, the war maniac. In Libya, Syria, Macedonia, and Saudi Arabia, women and children are fatally stricken by panic. Mr. Obama, heed the advice and don't let them use you to satisfy their insatiable oil appetite. All they want is to see the throne of the black man destroyed and out of sight. Muammar Gaddafi must go now. Yes, now. But it must not be a coup d'etat by modern day Babylonia. It is only a ridiculous no-fly zone that bombs civilian homes from Ras Lanuf to Ajdabiya. Taliban war, it's a Taliban war. The oil, all of them are wanted. A boom boom, all of them are dying. A boom boom, all of them are perishing. I cry, 'cause Barack in a trouble, Obama in a trouble. Why? Racial discrimination in America. Why? You know how a man fi climb to the top, then you turn around fi make him fall. Where you wanna prove that a black man cannot rule? This is you and I know that never true. Barack Obama, I cry, 'cause I know day and day you try. But there are people who wanna stand in your way. The enemy never want change. Me can't overstand. They will come together to sell out the black man. Black man, Barack move and expose the haters, push the vampire to the burning African sun. Last nigga me say, away from the conscious clan. Conscious clan. I cry, cry, cry. I cry, cry, cry. 'Cause Barack in a trouble, Obama in a trouble. Why? Racial discrimination in America. Why?
Kilometers from Techiman in the Blue East region. The once clean fish-laden water source has now turned milky brown with little sign of life. We took a trip to Samraboy in the western region of Ghana to investigate the source of its pollution.
This bridge links Samraboy behind me and Inchi ahead of me. Now this same bridge covers the river Tano in the western region. Now this is the Tano River. Milky, dirty. It looks like there is no life in it at all. Who is destroying the river Tano?
Michael Inyebribi Tanoe was named after this river. He has been fishing here for about 40 years now.
I've been fishing about 40 years. I used to start from 6 o'clock in the evening to early in the morning, night time. I'll keep on fishing, and then during the day I have to sell the fish throughout the month, so that I use that money to pay my school fees. Before, the river was just clean, and even when you are using your canoe, you can see the fish moving around. And sometimes we use bottle and put gari inside, put it inside the river, stand outside, and you can see the fish going around it. And then when any of them enter, quickly you rush and take the fish out.
After hours of fishing today, he only caught few fishes.
This morning, the fish that I got are this. Before, the same amount of net I'm using, I can get a fish almost a basket full, very short and nice. But nowadays, the fish has become long, and the fin have been changed as if they have designed it.
Recent events, he says, have changed the course of the river and the life in it.
Because it's very, very dirty. That's why the fish have been changed. Because before the river was clean, you see the fish very nice, see them swimming, going up and down, jumping. But nowadays, even when you put net, there's no any way you can get a lot of fish because their movement has stopped, and the river meandering to the nature one has been changed. Now the river boundaries are widened.
A bird's eye view of the river revealed possible culprits in the pollution of this national resource. This mining site, captured by our drone, belongs to Akunta Mining Limited, owned by Bernard and Chibosiako, popularly known as Chairman Wuntumi, the current Ashanti Regional Chairman of the NPP. Two of their mining operation sites sitting at the edges of the river, with some of their mining leaks and residues feeding directly into the Tano River. The footage of mining along the Tano River from a layman's view shows a clear violation of government's buffer zone policy, which demands the demarcation of a 50-meter buffer zone away from a water body like the Tano. Existing buffer zone bylaws and specifications spelled out by the Forestry Services Division indicates no logging within 50 meters of major streams and 25 meters along smaller streams. That of the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources states that a minimum of 100 meters off watermark should be declared as protected areas. But none of the mining sites discovered by our team along the Tano River respect these laws. Some indigents of Samreboy told Love News many of these sites belong to Chairman Wuntumi's Akunta Mining Limited. But officials of the company will not speak to our news team about the effects of the operations on the environment visible from above. Two security men wielding pump-action guns approached our team, and after establishing our identity and registering their protest over our drone activities, they left.
If you are mining a water body, you are undertaking an illegal activity.
The Minerals Commission described.
Welcome to Gabby Dave Global. We are a UK-based online e-commerce store, the first of its kind with license to trade in African products. Some of the products are clothing brands and all beauty accessories, hair and beauty brands, natural aphrodisiacs, processed and dried unprocessed food, Our mission at Gabby Dave is to connect African and Caribbean businesses to customers globally. At Gabby Dave, we ensure our sellers get the best deal for their products. We are not just here to help you reach a wider audience. We are also a distribution center to support business growth by fulfilling orders to your customers from our warehouse, making sure customers receive their products on time. We are inviting all Black-owned businesses to trade on our platform because we strongly believe Africans have a unique brand the customer would appreciate globally. So get in touch today and let us make your product and business go far. Here are some of the benefits of using Gabby Dave Global. User-friendly platform, track your shipment, online support, transparent process, multiple SKUs, multiple products, a platform that encourages manufacturers as well as traders. Our marketing and PR interventions amplifies yours. Organized products and categories for easy access and navigation. Access to global community, especially within UK and Europe. Welcome to Gabby Dave Global. We are a UK-based